Ooh, the song feels just sexy enough for us to get started with. Just sexy enough. Let me pop this over. Hello everybody, my name is TRAV. For those who don't know me, I noticed there's quite a few NinBow fans up in here, and that's what we love. We love the NinBow fam. Fam jam? Wham? Fam? Thank you, ma'am. Anyway, what I wanted to do is just a quick introduction for myself. And of course, we will bring in our lovely guest. He is muted right now, and he has this look of confusion on his face. I'm a big fan of him just being like, what's going on? What's happening? I have a couple of things. Quickly, just to start, first of all, TT chat right here. And of course, TT about, for those who don't know what's going on, we're going to talk about all sorts of content creation. We're probably going to get sidetracked because we both have ADHD. We're definitely going to get sidetracked because we both have ADHD. And if you are typing in chat, that is not a bad thing. We want to see your chat. We will acknowledge it. There will be times every so often where we end up missing chat, and it's not on purpose. We're not being like, you know what? I don't feel like it. It's not what it is at all, I promise. But yes, we are getting started here, and once again, we have our mods. If any other questions come up, feel free to ask the mods anything that you need to do it. So let me pop over to the TravTalks. NinBow, everybody can hear you now.
Am I here? Oh my god, I can see myself. Okay, wait. Jeez, no. Oh my god. This is very sudden. Oh man.
Oh, be scared.
We both, by the way, I just noticed because I didn't see your camera before, we both have a very nice display of lights going on behind us. We have like a Trans-Siberian orca. Do I have any shit I should be hiding? Okay, no, we're good.
No, you put your flashlight away in the first part.
My window is much bigger than it usually is when I stream, so I just realized that and was like, oh no! Oh wait, I don't have any loot shit. Okay, well I need to get loot shit to put in the background.
I think so.
But we're good.
Those bad dragons, you know? We gotta have something so be like, it looks like a lava lamp, I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? That's not a lava lamp. That's the funniest thing.
What?
It's just a really, really warm butt plug.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, it can fit to the size of a raccoon or whatever, right? So.
I mean, only when I transform.
But yes, welcome in everybody, and welcome into SuperNinBow, who I just learned the pronunciation of not 5 minutes ago.
You're actually the first person that's ever mispronounced my name, which is pretty amazing and embarrassing for you. Honestly.
You know what? I have many embarrassing.
Never said NinBow before ever. Like,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think when they give you a pronunciation guide when you walk into the channel.
Yeah, I actually should legitimately have a pronunciation. Not even like just like a one thing, like a whole guide. I should like have a tutorial. God damn it.
Ooh.
Integration, cross-platform. I'll have like a YouTube video. It needs to be really intense.
Yeah, so you get it's like exclamation point pronounce. Perfect.
But it's only for my name.
Yeah.
No one else is, fuckers.
Not about it.
I need it more than anyone else.
I'm the star of the show. You came to my
it's
channel.
Just like it's so messed up on such a consistent basis. It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
I think it makes all the sense in the world. You're bowing like it's like life is a stage. You're taking.
Do you know why it's NinBow? Like I think I've explained.
I don't, and actually, one of the questions at the beginning. So I guess we'll just get right into it. How did you come up with SuperNinBow? Where did that come from?
So my old name was Nintendo Bower. And this is when I started in 2020. Take that for what you will. Bower might mean something and it might not. Who knows? Who knows? Definitely not one of my real names, but
couldn't tell you.
I realized, so first of all, Nintendo Bower was pretty good because it was Nintendo Power, and I know you appreciate that based on your logo.
I do.
So I had the Nintendo Bower, that was my logo, and I realized at some point, something I should have realized very, very much earlier on, was that, there's this little company called Nintendo. It's not really known to be litigious whatsoever, but I really wanted to cover my bases.
I have only heard of them kind of on the fringe, so.
Yeah, like in passing, right?
Yeah.
So I decided probably a good idea not to have that in my name if I ever want to grow whatsoever. So I wanted to be just NinBow, just compounded into that. But NinBow is actually taken by a cover band that does 9 Inch Nails David Bowie crossovers. And I can't even fucking be mad about that. So I put the super in there.
Yeah, and that's a first of all, that's a great mix.
It's legit, man.
Are they good?
To a little bit of their stuff. It's actually pretty good. I can't even be mad about. David Bowie's my favorite musician. I can't even be mad about that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. David Bowie's got some great stuff, and the stuff at the end, so morbid, like the end of his career, so morbid and heavy and dark. You're like, this man knew something that we did not know.
Oh, he always did. I mean, he was the chameleon, right?
He was. So that became Nintendo Bower became, nah, no longer. I'm done with that. And it turned into SuperNinBow.
Yeah, and also Dr. Wily murdered Nintendo Bower on screen.
Oh,
last
right.
July. It was a whole thing, and then Nintendo Bower, his soul actually took over a small bee, and to this day, the bee is seeking revenge against Dr. Wily. There's a lot of lore. So
Is Dr. Wily allergic to bees?
No, it's just there happened to be a bee in the room when the soul was passing, and went to the bee and.
Very the fly of you. Yes.
Now he's definitely allergic. I don't know if it's like a medicinal allergicness, but he's scared. He's scared, and he should be.
I would be too. I would be too. So
Bees literally have a sword for an ass. Have you ever thought about that?
I know the thing that about the thing that scares me the most is that they're also willing to just end it all based on I'm a little mad in this moment. You know?
Yeah, no, it's like the ultimate, like, fuck you, I'm taking you down with me. And I love it. There's something really admirable about that. Just killing someone with the sword in your ass and just like the ultimate sacrifice. I don't even think they know. If they do, that's badass though.
If and I'd like to think they do. I'd like to think that they are very aware that they're like, it's about to go down and here we go. So, I brought one of the reasons I reached out to you was, first of all, because you were like, I want to do more collaboration stuff, and I want to like get out there and talk more. And then the other reason is when I was like, holy shit, a doctorate of psychology. I am a therapist in real life. I want to talk to you.
So what is like your background? So you do therapy.
Yes.
Like what kind of, I think you said it was like child therapy, right?
I am a child therapist, yes.
Okay. May I ask like what, if there's like a specific facet of it
that
you focus on? Adults
are boring, and so I wanted to go into doing child therapy because I can just play for an hour and I'll be like, I cured your kid.
Nice.
But
I got some Legos out, we're good.
I got a sandbox. Have at it. No, it was more like, for me specifically, it was just a quick like decision of when I was deciding like what kind of branch do I want to go into. I liked the idea of play therapy. I liked that way more. I liked the idea of developmental stuff, and also becoming like that person that could be there for somebody when they might not have anybody else.
That's awesome. You definitely have the aura of someone that would like be really good with kids. So a little bit like about my background. I used to work in developmental psychology.
Okay.
So I actually did work with kids, but I don't want to like dox myself. I don't want to reveal too much, but like when I started out with my cognitive science PhD, my focus was on like how children develop concepts of numbers and math and things like that, which was really cool. Like we got to play games with them, and they learned like what quantities are, and how amorphous things can have more of or less than other things. So child psychology is really, really fun and interesting. Kids are like wildly smart, and people don't understand. They're also stupid. They're kind of dumb, but like they're very, very smart.
There's smart and there's mature, and those are way different things.
Yeah. They also do fall down quite a lot.
Which I can watch kids fall down all day because I know they're gonna bounce back up.
That's the thing. That's my wife is like, you're terrible. I'm like, no, they're fine. That's why it's funny.
They'll be fine. Especially there's that totally classic thing that you've heard where a kid will fall, and then you'll hear the parent be like, don't acknowledge it. Don't even acknowledge that they fell over. And then they don't
give it.
And they're fine. And they bounce right back up, and they're just like, ha ha ha, you know?
Well, it's the immediate like crying and screaming followed by the I'm okay now.
Yeah.
Like
It's I've talked with like young kids about like, all right, is that because we're scared? You know, is that a fear response? Because most of the time it's a fear response. When you fall over, a little scary. Pavement coming at your face pretty fast, might be a little scary. And then, as long as they like do a quick body check and they're like, I'm not hurt. All right, let's move on.
You guys like that? You want to see it again?
And I'm like trying not to laugh. Yeah. Yeah, I work with.
I just straight up laugh. I'm just a fucking monster. I'll just like laugh out loud.
See,
I've gotten dirty looks before from parents. Like I'm not like I don't point my finger. That I think that would be a step too far.
Yes.
But
you point at the kid and then point at the mom like you did this.
Look at the kid that fell. That's your kid. You made it. Their pain amuses me. Please do it again.
And I'm laughing because they're stupid. Your kid's going to be stupid. Trust me, I've got a doctorate.
Dude, I'm gonna fall like so many fucking times as an old man. That's like my karma. It's fine. I'm gonna enjoy this while it lasts, and then I'll just like.
That's some slow karma, but I'm into it, honestly.
I know the deal. It's fine.
I know it's coming. It's just gonna happen eventually. So, because of like the work that you do as a like doctorate, you were talking to me about like teaching classes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to take up a ton of brain room and just like general energy. So like where does the energy come from to do the other side of like content creation?
That's the neat part. You don't have any.
Ah, okay.
So
go on.
Okay, so it's hard, man. Like people ask me this all the time, like how do you balance this sort of stuff, like work-life balance? And even like in grad school, so like again, don't want to get like too specific with things, but like one of my jobs is, before even what I do now, like training new graduate students, and one of the things that we focus on is like you know, just work-life balance, how to safeguard your time, how to have energy to have like a social life, and have a partner, have hobbies, all that stuff. And you know, the answer is like you prioritize what's important for you. And it's hard though still, because like I can speak for myself. I'm a perfectionist. I like to put, and this is what I talked about. Sorry, I'm bouncing around a little bit. I announced, for those of you who don't know, like I announced a hiatus the other day, and the reason that I announced it, one of the primary reasons, was that I could no longer balance these things. Because I just started a job. It's a pretty intense job. Like right now it's almost 60 hours a week, and plus commuting, and it's like that's not going to work out. So even during like my dissertation, which I finished like 3 months ago, it was really rough. And when like not everyone puts 100% into stuff, and I want to like say that that's totally fine, right? Like that's probably more healthy than what I do, but I like go full fucking throttle with stuff, and then like I burn myself out. Like it's one of those things where it's like do as I say, not as I do. Where it's like safeguard your time, prioritize stuff, and then here's my ass over here just like, I need to add a new VTuber every time I stream. I need to find a crowd control or some new gimmick, or like, how do I make this more entertaining? How do I? And that's the thing too. It's like I'm conscious of like growth, but it's more for me as an entertainer. Like, how do I keep myself engaged? How do I keep this fun? And the answer is just finding all the shit possible that I could do, and then it just eats up every second of my life.
All the time in the world, right?
Yeah. So like I just didn't want to get bored with stuff, and that led me to doing so many weird cool things, but at the same time it just took up so much fucking time. And I kind of had this moment last Wednesday night. I was playing Mega Man Zero, and I was just like,
great game, by the way.
It's so fucking good. It's so dude, I'm a huge Mega Man fan, but it took me so long to get into the Zero series for some reason.
Oh, you're not doing yourself any favors. But okay, so it was during this, like during stream, literally like in the middle of stream, like this realization.
It just hit me. So it's been like this thing I've been thinking about for a while, and like my chat was just really quiet, and that's fine. I love lurkers, but like I thrive on like the social aspect. Like I love chatting with people, and it's just gotten a little quieter, and engagement's kind of fallen since partnership, and that was like a huge thing I talked about as well. And like I don't know, man, it just hit me like I need to take a break. I think everyone including myself is sort of just exhausted right now in life. And I want to hang out with my family. I want to like focus on my job. and I could not keep going and be honest with myself and say that like I'm okay with that.
Right. Okay, so this realization comes in the middle of Mega Man Zero, and you're like,
it may have been also because I was getting my ass kicked like crazy. So that's
they're not
that
easy.
game is hard.
They're not easy. No. And that's when they also were like, oh, by the way, we also rank you, and it's like, oh.
If you use any of those goddamn cyber elves, or you use cyberspace, or you use cyber anything,
Yeah.
welcome to rank B at best. It's
At
so
best,
frustrating.
anyway. Yes, I know. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I'm like, do I play that on stream? Do I do that to myself? There's just 4.5 minutes of silence while I'm trying to like do this perfectly and not get hit. Anyway,
It's
so-
not gonna happen.
No.
Like, did you do it with the Did you do it on the Legacy Collection so you had the checkpoints?
No. I
They
had
make it so much easier, and it's still fucking impossible.
No, I had old school Game Boy Advance.
Oh
yeah.
I am such a fucking phony.
There's nothing wrong with these legacy collections
I don't
because
think so either.
they
I
are
don't
helping
think so
out
either.
tremendously and bringing new fans too.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
I saw your little data emote and I was like, oh, Mega Man Legends. Give me
Yeah,
that
they
collection.
need to get Walnut off the moon.
Give me that fucking collection. I'm still waiting. Give me
I
my
can't
Legends
believe
back.
They haven't. Then they have 3 fucking amazing games they could throw in, and if they really want to play their Capcom card, where they're like, here's a collection, buy it if you want to see a new one, and they don't make one anyway. I shouldn't brag on Capcom as a Capcom creator, but they know what they're fucking doing. They know what they're doing. They're not dumb. Get them off the moon. What the fuck is this? They're just mad. They're just mad at Inafune. Whatever.
Ugh. We'll just like rag on that for 2 hours and then be like, all right, have a good night. So you talked about something that you mentioned, and this has kind of been like a kind of running theme through each of these Trav Talks, has been this perfectionist thing. Like, we want to make it, like, most content creators are entertainers. Like, that's what they want to do. And so for you, you have to make it engaging even for you as well. Because otherwise you're like, interest gone, done. Okay. So where do you think that like perfectionism comes from? Has that always been a thing for you?
Yeah, but you know the thing when you're a perfectionist is you don't realize it, right?
Yeah.
You assume that your baseline is the same as everyone else's.
Right.
Like, I just kind of assume it's like you might have a similar experience, or people that are watching and chatting with us right now might have a similar experience where, like, you think that everyone else has their shit together. You think that everyone else is completely in charge and on top of stuff and doing a great job, and then you realize really quickly, like, they're not, and they don't, and like you don't either, but that's fine because no one really does.
No. Yes.
And it's like, why am I kicking my ass constantly to achieve, like, I could easily settle for a baseline, and I guess that's like one of the troubles I have is, like, I don't like settling with stuff. Like, it eats at me if I don't live up to a standard with something, I'll just like let it fester and feel terrible and feel like I let myself down and let other people down. And that's kind of how I felt with the stream too, is I felt very disappointed with myself. Like, not even metric wise, like there's all these talks about numbers and people, you know, are like, you shouldn't feel bad about that. Here's the thing, it's like a really mentally predatory system whenever a human being is quantified, right?
Yes.
And you shouldn't feel bad, like, if you see a dip in your numbers and you feel bad. Like, part of me is just like, why do you feel bad? Like, that's, you as a human should feel affected by that, because that is how the system is set up. It's not a good thing, but it's also sort of an inevitable thing unless you consciously fight it and don't, you know, let it prey on you. But I really just started kicking my ass a lot. And feeling like I let myself down, I let my viewers down, I let my community down, just because that partner dip, like, it got in my head. It made me feel like, as like a creator, I was no longer fun or entertaining or doing things that, you know, people wanted to see. And I didn't want to see, like, my channel die a slow death. I didn't want to see, like,
Sure.
the decline to be continual and gradual and just go out on a whimper. I knew I had to like change something. I knew I had to revitalize it, reapproach it, rethink what I was doing to make it fun again, you know?
Fun again for not only your community and your viewers, but for you.
Yeah, because if I'm not having fun, and that goes for any streamer.
Oh my gosh,
if the person's not having fun, like it's so obvious to everyone.
Yeah.
Right?
People, what I've noticed, and this is like what I've talked about on my channel, on my other things, it's been like people will see right through someone who's not being genuine. Like it'll come out. It'll come out like in the wash type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like even people who are massive creators, right? Like I know I bring them up a lot because I also have I definitely have full proof that Tyler the Ninja Blevins is a cannibal. Like 100%. Yeah, I have.
Do you have the receipts on this?
I have proof. Yes.
Oh my God! Is this breaking? Is this a breaking story?
I've talked about it a lot, but ain't nobody getting in contact with me. So,
oh my God,
the farther it spreads, you know.
Oh my God.
But even for him, right? He like came out and was talking about like, he's like, I'm tired of it. Like he's like, I'm tired of Fortnite. I want to do something else. And he was like having so much fun with his other stuff. And then people were like, I don't know, you know? And I imagine for him, that was like this weird disconnect, like this, like, well, people want me to play this game, but I'm not having fun, but it makes me more money, but I'm not having fun, but it's also work. So work isn't always fun, I guess.
That's very true. That's very true. There's a balance between these things where it's like, it's not only like you're completely having fun doing whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine. I keep getting advice from people, and this, like, I love the support, but people are like, just play whatever you want. And it's like, I will, but also you do factor in like what do people actually want to see,
right?
And also like it does sometimes feel like work because it is if you're doing it well.
Yeah.
And you're putting a lot of mental effort and a lot of passion and a lot of like thoughtfulness into it, and that can be taxing. That can be a lot. Sometimes there are going to be some days where you feel more like you're not like putting in the hours, it's a shitty way of putting it, but like more like you're here and you'll feel better as you get going, but it takes a little more motivation to get started and get into your groove than others.
Well, I've noticed this with many streamers, big or small. Like there are definitely times when we've talked about like, no, sometimes like going through there's so much more to content creation than you see. Like Game Grumps, right? Like I love the Game Grumps. They're a huge inspiration to me and like how I kind of got into the whole content creation thing. But I don't see 98% of what they do behind the scenes. They do so much more than just haha, be funny for 30 minutes. And now we're rich, you know? Like, I don't know. There's so much more that they're doing. They're marketing, they're merchandising, they're doing all this stuff. And like the world of Twitch, a lot of the time is like a one-man operation.
Yeah. Well, that's the hard thing, right? Is like you have one person. Some people like, a lot of people like cooperate with their mods and stuff. Some people have like producers, like they'll have a dedicated mod or something that's like really on top of stuff.
Right.
But mostly it comes down to like one person, and like you're like a marketing person, you're an artist, you're a human being, you're just like you're spinning all of these plates, and it's just like it's hard and weird, and I don't think, like you said, a lot of people recognize all the stuff that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, I mean, and generally I feel like it's also not talked about as much either. Like I'm sitting there like, of course I want like some dope ass merch. How the hell do I make merch?
Yeah.
I can't even color inside the lines, and maybe some people would want that, but is that for everybody? You know, like it's kind of tough. Yeah. Yes, like Griffin was saying here, I hope I'm saying that right. Marketer, artist, graphic designer, right? Like making the little pixel art thing that I did for this specific TravTalks even. You know what I mean?
And no one would, and people don't know this stuff because like they don't make every stream, so they don't know like the new elements that you've introduced. So it's like, And it's not like I say that like not like you have to notice like vindicate me, but it's like it's like a lot of invisible stuff, like so much, dude. And I'll be honest, like I actually like the behind the scenes stuff. Like I like going into Photoshop and just making weird shit like a cursed Furby or whatever. But like, it's so fun.
Yeah, and there is an element of that to it, and like you even said, if it has to stay engaging for you.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there in Photoshop trying to be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make this cursed thing, it's like, ugh, it's not even fun anymore, you know. And and I know you don't have to like do your speech that you were doing for your hiatus announcement, but like, is that was like a big part of it too? Like it's not sparking you the way it used to.
I don't have the time for it. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I want to be introducing all these elements and stuff. Like, to give you an example, I have this PNG tuber that I have that's a Tamagotchi.
I've seen him.
And yeah, the NinBow Gotchi. So I wanted to add this interactive element where people could feed him or clean up his poop or something.
Yeah.
And I kept promising it. I'm like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I just don't have time. And every time I streamed, I just felt so like guilty that I'm not delivering on these promises. And it's not because like I don't care or like I'm not trying. It's that I physically don't have time to do it. And I felt embarrassed after a while that I like just wasn't like producing the stuff that I wanted to produce, you know?
Interesting you said embarrassed. And that's not me being a therapist about it. I like,
you do sound like a therapist when you say that.
I realized that after I said it. I was like, that was very therapist-y.
No, and I don't mind it. It's just so funny that I was like, that's a therapy thing that you just did.
It was. For those who don't know, in the chat, I'm a therapist in real life, and I'm talking to a doctor of psychology, so we might have some sort of weird connection there.
Why did you choose that word?
That's a weird one that came up. And maybe
well, yeah,
not even...
I did. I felt like my problem. I had a fortune cookie fucking tell me this the other day.
Oh God. Okay, let's hear it. I want to hear about this.
The fortune cookie told me stop. It was something to the effect of, you have a problem with over-promising and under-delivering. And I was so fucking angry at this fortune cookie. It was too real.
Whoa, Cookie, take it easy.
It's just rough because I do that in stream, and I've been doing that like in my career. Like, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm a super like motivated person, and I'm always like, oh yeah, sure, like I'll get fucking 100 of these things done in 3 days. Don't worry about it. I'm like, you know you can't do this. Why are you? I think it's the ADHD a little bit. Like, why are you over-promising everything? Like, you know you're putting too much on your plate, you idiot. And then a fortune cookie had to call me out on it, and that's the thing that broke the camel's back. That's so frustrating.
Just fucking Cookie, and it's like, and your lucky number is 12, and you're like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, I knew that. That was fun.
How did it know? So it's like you felt like you had that feeling of like letting people down, which in turn also turned into letting yourself down.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what the directionality is with that, but I just know that I feel like, well, I know I'm disappointed. I don't know if other people are disappointed, and I know like a lot of people have like told me that they're not disappointed in me, or like a lot of people. I feel really bad because I feel that stream I did on Thursday. I'm not plugging the stream, by the way, but like it was fucking interesting because I had that revelation on Wednesday, and then I was like, I told everyone at the end of the stream, I've decided I'm taking a hiatus. I need to do it. I'll be on tomorrow, and I'll talk about it. I ended up going for like 3.5 hours or something talking about it. I meant to do one. I just wanted to get on there, explain myself, and move on. And it turned out to be like this really, really, really good, open, transparent conversation, not only about like what I'm doing, but also like a lot of the struggles people of all sizes and backgrounds on Twitch are kind of going through. Yeah. And I've gotten a lot of people messaging me like really sweet things, like really supportive, or really sad things like, hey, I'm glad, like people I've never even like talked to before, like, hey, I'm super glad you talked about this stuff because I felt like I was the only one, or like, I've been struggling with this and it's good to hear someone vocalize it. And again, I'm not patting myself on the back. It kind of like bummed me out to hear so many people, this resonated with so many people, because I hate that anyone feels this way. I really do.
Right. Well,
But a lot of people.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm talking so much.
No, it's a talk show, so I'm just
I know,
I'm
feel
vain
bad,
and
like,
I have
this
my
is a
name in the title.
conversation.
I mean I'm vain and just have myself in the title of the talk show, but like that's separate from because I wanted to hear some of the things that go on, and it just happened to kind of coincide with your hiatus and stuff like that. And because I mentioned this when we started getting on when we got on stream to start, but it was like there's pressure from like the outside, and there's like inside pressure.
Yeah.
And most of the time, and I feel like I hear this a lot from content creators, like the audience is like super kind and gentle.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, like take yourself time. Like you take all the time you need. Like I'll call you, you know, when you come back, I'll be excited to see you, you know?
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
The pressure of the inside though, from what it comes from us a lot of the time is like, oh God, but like if I'm not back in like a week, they're gonna move on. They're gonna unsub or whatever it is. They're gone.
Yep.
And I know that inside pressure, I've even felt that when and this is for the people who don't know me or do know me, but like from when it was going from Tank Bros to just me, like we had kind of went our separate ways, and I was like, if I don't like get back on there quick, people are gonna forget I exist.
So how did you deal with that?
Like
with that internal pressure.
I kind of would let it out in different ways, but also just hearing enough people kind of validate and kind of understand where it was coming from. They're like, no, you got to take time to change. You had to take time to build your own thing and be separate. And also literally that's just stuff that takes time.
Yeah.
It's not to say that we're like sitting here waiting impatiently, checking our watch every 5 minutes, being like, when the hell is NinBow gonna go live again? It was like, oh no, like take your time. We'll be excited. And when you come back, I'm excited to see what you have. And those messages and stuff like that, those validating messages that, and like you said, like you don't like to hear that people also struggle. But it was like kind of validating to be like, oh yeah, no, take your time. Just,
yeah,
you're all right. We're not gonna forget about you. You don't disappear off the earth just because you disappeared off the Twitch space, you know?
I felt that about other creators too. There's like one of the people that like was really inspirational to me when I started out, he took like a year off and recently messaged me. I was like, I never forgot about him. I always thought about him, and I've always been looking and waiting for him to come back. So I mean, people are gonna leave. That's part of the calculus, right?
Right.
This is a fickle platform. Like we're competing against like thousands of other people. Part of my community is gonna be gone when I come back, and that's fine. It's like possible, no one owes. Yeah, no one owes me anything. Like we have like this weird parasocial sort of relationship with sometimes direct, but a lot parasocial, because also people have relationships with us that we don't see them, like lurkers and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Like you feel like you're friends with everyone, and it's not necessarily that you're not, but there's an intimacy with Twitch that doesn't really exist with other platforms like YouTube.
Right. And
it's just like, when I come back, there's going to be people that aren't here, and it's almost like losing friends. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Right. And I feel like that happens even when you are consistent, and then like there's a name that's really consistent in your chat, but like disappears for whatever reason. Real life happens, and like it's not upsetting, but it is like, damn, disappointing.
It's disappointing, but you're not like angry. Like I've never been like, oh, I haven't seen so and so. Like people have lives, dude. I can't be in every chat. Like
oh my god, no.
Like I wouldn't hold that against someone else. Something I wouldn't hold against myself. Like we're human. I know that there are people out there that are like that, but you know what? They're wrong, so it doesn't. Whatever. It's fine. fine.
But yeah, fuck them. So
I don't
no,
know.
I get that too, right? You're not angry with them. We're understanding, and that parasocial relationship does exist, though. It's real.
Yeah.
And
It's real, and it's a weird, like, I had like people message me after partnership, and I remember one really specifically. It was someone that like I considered closer to me, not like necessarily like a close friend, but like definitely one of like the tent poles of the community. And they were like, "You're too big for me now. I just don't like the vibe here anymore. I'm moving on."
Oh my god.
It fucking came out of nowhere, and it gutted me, and it sent me like in this like weird emotional mental spiral. Like, did I change? Have I? And the funny thing was, like, my numbers had actually started declining at that point.
Right.
Numbers, metrics, viewership. People aren't numbers. I try to consciously use other vocabulary, but you know what I mean. Like,
yes,
metrics were down. Like, if objectively they wanted to look at before and after, I was doing way better before partnership than after. So for them to come out of nowhere and just say, "You're too big for me now," it's like, I'm literally the same dude as I've always been.
Yeah,
you know,
the content hasn't. The content itself, which is me, I am the content. Like, that hasn't changed. Yeah.
And hopefully, like, it does change sometimes for the better, but it wasn't like I sold out and like whatever. Like, it's always been about expression and hanging out and having a good space.
Right. You don't have like the Pepsi logo on your forehead.
I do have Pepsi Man on my screen.
I know that.
So that, I guess that's the closest I've come to selling out, is Pepsi Man being an emote.
But I have like I get like a energy drink tattoo just like across the chest. But like, make sure that like nipples aren't on screen, because that's a no-no.
If you have like logos over your nips though, like, does that count?
That's a good question.
It depends, I guess, on how big they are, because I think someone got banned for having X's on their nips.
Right,
so
but it was like
Pepsi logos. Maybe if they were like the whole breast.
Okay, that's an idea. That's an idea. Because they're not big on body painting.
Depends on who it is, right?
Right. If you're big enough, they're cool with it because you're making them money. But like, I don't know.
I think this is something that has to be investigated through direct experimentation.
I was gonna say direct experimentation here on TravTalks. So when you deal with those pressures, those parasocial relationships, getting those messages, because I remember getting a pretty similar message when Tank Bros split, it split very amicably. We were like, bros over content. I don't want to not be your friend over a fucking Twitch channel, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not what we want. And then I got like a message being like, how dare you fucking kick him off? And I was like, that was not what happened in the slightest, you know? But they were like, I'm never coming back to this channel. You kicked him off. And I was like, it's not even close to what happened, but you live in your own little world. Cause like, and that person messaged you and was just like, you're too big, man. You've changed, bro. You've changed.
It's so weird. Like, how do you respond to that?
I kind of just like, I kind of laughed at it, and I kind of put like, that's not what happened, but okay. I don't control you. I don't control whatever narrative you have in your head. So for those pressures that you feel, and whether or not they come from partnership or just in general, like how do you generally deal with those pressures? Do you have support systems? Do you have a therapist?
No, you know, I've gone to like multiple therapists. I am about to go to another one. Sometimes the thing with therapy, like everyone who's done therapy kind of knows that like it takes you can either have like a really good match immediately, or like you just don't find a good therapist for a while that works for you.
Yeah.
And I went through like 3 that just for various reasons didn't work. One of them just like straight up like didn't listen to what I said. Like I'd be like, I want to, you know, work through this problem. And like there are therapists, like I want to listen to them, but also like there's some immediate challenges that I want to face. And like if they don't want to help me out with that, I'm like, you know, I really need this addressed.
Yes.
But yes, but other than that, like I have my wife. The thing that was actually pretty troublesome actually is like Twitch was a support system for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a lot of like I think I put like a lot of undue pressure like on my community to like be like my support system sometimes, like to be the people that like made me feel less alone, and that's really not their job. Like
Makes sense.
their job is to be entertained and like be there for each other. And
Sure,
I don't know, maybe that's like part of it, but I feel like it was unfair to them for me to be like, man, I hope people are here tonight because I'm having like a bad day. Like that's a human feeling, but it's not at all like fair to them.
That's interesting. So I've seen people who almost use like that human feeling as like a marketing tactic almost.
Yeah, well, they do, and we can talk about like predatory Twitch behavior. That's something like I'm not generally like a negative person. I don't like to sling mud. I'll never name names.
No.
But people definitely do like, and that's funny because I don't think I've ever said this out loud before. Is like that I have relied on my community as like a support system, and it's unfair. Like people do market and weaponize that sort of thing though, where it's like, oh my god, I've been gone for so long, I missed all of you, please welcome me back. And like whatever, like you know the buttons to push, right? Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It just and I don't think all people that do that are being disingenuous. Maybe like they just have different social mores than us, but I just find that really weird. Like I feel, like I said, embarrassment I guess is like a key word here, because I felt embarrassed that like I wasn't relying more on like close friends of mine for a social net. It was more of like Twitch, and Twitch itself is like part of what you need a net to support you, not from, but like in, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from there. Yeah.
If you're compounding the thing that you need support on with the thing you're getting support from, like it creates like a weird dissonance where you have a hard time.
That's a tangled web for sure.
It's a tangled web, yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of felt, I mean, so maybe we can go into the therapy topic for sure, because there are a lot of shitty therapists out there, which suck. There are also some great therapists out there. But the fact when people are like, no, you know, I'm not gonna listen to this client. I'm just gonna stick my own thing in here. And you're like, what? That's not what I wanted in the slightest. So for you then, like that kind of tangled web, I imagine, and at the same time, while like growing as a creator, right? Like how do you navigate that? How did you navigate that?
By treating Twitch as my support network while I was doing things like trying to partner push, which was dumb. Don't ever do that. Okay.
Write it down.
Yeah, don't partner push. This is my advice. Honestly, I don't really have a good answer to that, because it's. I think if in retrospect I could redo this, I wouldn't rely so much on. I would focus more on my role as like creating like a cultivator of space and like an entertainer, more than like I need Twitch to vindicate or validate some sort of like part of my heart and soul, you know, like. Okay, but it's also hard again because like I approach this with my heart and soul, so
right.
I can't remove it, nor would I want to, because I never want to be a robot. I never want to play this, like, I never want to be like someone who is just heartlessly, thoughtlessly approaching this just for benefit.
Sure.
But you also leave yourself incredibly vulnerable when you invest so much of like yourself into this. And that's why when you're not doing really well, you take it personal. You know, you get caught up in it. It's like if your metrics are down, that doesn't, and this is not true, this is how a person might feel. I felt
sure.
It's like your metrics are down, that means that you're failing as a person. It's not some extraneous thing like,
oh my gosh, yes,
the changing of seasons, or like a raid train is going on right now, or you know, whatever, or
like it's September, school is starting, you know, like For a lot of people, school is starting, or at June. I remember June, like a lot of people were talking about like numbers dipping and stuff like that. And again, like you said, people are not numbers, but like viewership metrics, whatever was dipping, and people were like, "What's going on, man?" And I was like, "It's June.
Yeah.
People are going outside again. We're allowed to go out and touch grass again, so we're gonna." And a lot of people are gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that we kind of talked about at the last one, in the last TravTalks. But we are it's so easy to focus on those numbers, the numbers, the viewer number, the follower number. Oh, what happened to my sub points? Like, how did that happen? You know, or
Yeah.
those types of things. And it's so easy to get caught up in it. And we kind of likened it to like playing an instrument versus singing, right? Like singing is very personal. It's us. It is like, and if someone's like, "You're not good at singing," you're going to take that super personal. But if someone's like, "Oh no, you suck at guitar," it's like, well, I can blame the guitar at least.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, I guess that's a good metaphor. Like everything is an extension of yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I actually like this metaphor a lot. I'm like thinking like with Twitch as like being the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you're playing the guitar, like people, and I think playing Twitch isn't inherently a bad thing. Maybe that's like a controversial opinion, but I think like playing the system is not a bad thing necessarily.
Oh.
But the giant fucking caveat to that, and it's like huge, is that you should never play human beings. So playing the system in this case without playing human beings would be like playing a game that has traction or visibility, or like is potentially or is like particularly popular or getting traction right now. That's fine. But like doing the things like engagement farming or like building people up and making them feel a certain way and knowing what you're doing, and then just kind of using them. I'm being very specific right now because I have very specific thoughts. Sorry.
Nope. Like, please, like, expand as much as you'd like.
Well, I mean, with that, like, I don't even know how I got on this, but I was having a conversation with someone earlier about, like, how people try to make connections on here, and that's like one of the reasons I want to take the hiatus. Like, I genuinely mean this, and this is based on my thought of like my social support network is like Twitch, and it's like not entirely a good thing. I really need to have like more friends and more confidants and stuff like that. Like I really need to actually have relationships with people that, because of my time, and I don't know, like I don't make myself vulnerable enough, I guess. Like I need to form, but there's people out there that like use these sorts of relationships and they really build you up. They're like, "Oh my god, it's my favorite creator so and so. Oh my god, I love you. We love you so much. We want to collaborate with you. We love you." And they build you up, and especially for people that are vulnerable, they'll really take that to heart. Like I've had people do that to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, these people really like me. Like we really jive, and like they're my friend now, right?
Sure, yeah.
And then as soon as you're not useful to them or like whatever, they just kind of abandon you, and it feels so it's jading. And I don't want to become jaded. I don't want to become cynical, but it makes you feel so played. I feel like a used toy or something. It's really messed up.
Right. I think it's so, and that's like kind of the you said it earlier, is like those predatory practices. You end up seeing that as you grow, some of those predatory practices have like happened, and like you'll see it on Twitter. I think you and I actually joked about it at one point about being just like, I have 10,000 bits. Who am I dropping them on? You know, like those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's very much like this, those people who are using that specifically to like, it's like when people go viral for, you know, some clip, like a kid falling off a bike or whatever, and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, while you're here, here's my Instagram," or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's like the obligatory thing on Twitter too. Like when something blows up, it's like
Yeah.
the top comment is "Here are my socials,"
Yeah.
and I don't blame them. I mean, that's the game.
It is the game, and there's different ways to play the game.
But the only way I think the wrong way to play the game is through being disingenuous and being manipulative. And
Yes.
I've seen so much of this behavior recently, and it's kind of broken my heart because I've seen people in my community actively preyed upon by people like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I question myself, like, do I step in? Do I say anything? Is it really my place? I don't want to start fights. I'm not a dramatic person. I'm not a confrontational person. I just don't want to see people getting used, you know, like I did at one point.
Totally.
And the users thrive. That's like, it's the world's not fair, and we all know this, but like the users thrive, and you see them just making a killing on here because people lap it up, and it's like, how does no one see what's going on? And the reason they don't see what's going on is because they have that sense of like emotional vulnerability that these predators like know how to manipulate.
Oh yeah.
And they're not stupid. They just like without getting specific examples, like there's one person who like I actually can't get too specific. I think you know them. That's why I'm like being really careful.
I understand.
I don't think you're friends with them, but I've seen you interact with them. But they were promising all these things to small creators, and then the small creators took them up on this thing, and then realized very quickly that like there was no actual, like, they didn't actually care about them. They weren't actually invested in helping them out or propagating them in any way.
Right.
It was like a fucking pyramid scheme on Twitter and Twitch to propagate themselves. And I knew a few people that partook in that, and afterwards we talked, and they're like, oh, yeah, I realized in retrospect what was going on, but I didn't realize it at the time just because I'm small and they're big, and they made all these promises and said all the right things, and it like, it just makes me really sad to watch people get used like that.
Well, are you so? I think I know what example you're talking about specifically as well.
Yeah, I think you do too, and I'm not going to name names, but
I don't want to. I'm not.
I think anyone. I know you're not going to ask, but I think anyone. I think anyone that has seen this knows exactly what both of us are thinking.
And it's really hard because when you're growing on this platform, or any platform, literally any platform, but specifically like the one we're talking about is Twitch, where you see like, oh my God, that person's got viewers. They had to get there somehow. They know exactly what they're doing. They have to. And if you're a brand new creator, and even like there are plenty of super smart people out there, but even as a small creator, you're like, well, they're doing something right. I gotta kind of follow their example. Okay, all right, let's see what they have to say, and then people throw that behind a paywall or whatever, and those kind of empty promises, because there are no guarantees.
Yeah.
I think you and I actually talked about at one point, I don't remember exactly when it was, but you and I had talked about how luck plays a huge part.
It plays a really big part, like that exposure. If you get like the correct person rating into you and forming a relationship with you, like just knowing the right people plays, and that's not like a bad thing either. Like networking and connections, and like I know that a lot of my community, like including people I see in the chat here, like discover me through other streamers that are like-minded and really cool, and that's great. But sometimes bigger people, like they'll have like just a break or something, and they'll emulate someone else, and it just kind of spirals from there. I think that people conflate like size with ability. Like they assume, like you said, like if someone's bigger, they know what they're doing, or like they deserve that. Or if someone's smaller, it works in reverse, right? Where it's like, oh, you're a smaller creator, like you don't know what you're doing, or you're not as good as bigger ones.
Right.
And it's not really either of those things. It's more to do with a lot of luck, a lot of traction, a lot of just like just exposure. Like the longer you go, the greater the chance is that you get that exposure and you build and get momentum. But I don't know. There are some smaller creators that like aren't great, and there's larger creators that are terrible. And I objectively wonder, like, what the fuck? Why? Like, not in like not in a jealous way, but like I sincerely, it baffles my mind why they're thriving. You know?
Oh yeah. I have definitely seen the streamers out there where you're like, how do you have so many people in here? How are so many people like? And maybe I try not to be jaded about it. Like I'll try and objectively look. We do love Trash Kitty. She's great. We try to like objectively look at like what is the draw here?
Yeah. And that you can't turn that off as a creator either, because it's not necessarily like a vindictive thing. Like whenever you're watching another channel like doing something well, especially, and it's not like you're stealing it, but you're just like, your analytical mind starts playing and you're like, what is this? Like what are they doing that is so successful? And it's just like fascinating because there's so many different creative personalities on here. Like everyone is bringing something unique to the table. What is this person doing here? You know?
Well, I think there's also something to be said for those who do emulate, right?
Yeah.
Like having like seeing somebody who you look up to as a creator and you go, I want to do something like that. And it's the whole imitation is the sincerest form of flattery type thing. And as long as you're not like quite literally copying them word for word, like if I started wearing Hawaiian shirts and I shaved my head and stuff, right? Then it'd be like, what's this guy doing? It's not happening, by the way, chat.
Do not lose those locks. Keep them. I would have them if I could.
It's not happening, by the way. But when I have watched your channel, I'm a mega lurker. It's like totally my thing now. But like listening and feeling it out and like talk, like how you talk to your people, and I'm like, oh, there's like a new way of engagement I hadn't quite thought about, you know? Or, oh, I really like that channel point redeem. Let me kind of try and make my own similar type thing. Everyone's got to hydrate, but
if you have a goddamn Digimon, I will be onto you so fast.
And then you just like hear me like scratching out my notebook super hard. Like, shit.
I actually, on that topic, I did have someone steal something from me once, like legit, like the next day they stole something. Yeah, I won't go into specifics, but like,
okay,
it was really fucking like I had to ask my mods. I'm like, hey, is this like in my head, or did this person lift this from mine? And they're like, oh yeah, like this is 1000%, because it was like the next day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy.
This isn't me, right? I'm not doing this one. Like, no.
Yeah. And hearing them, because they like will tell me when I'm wrong. Like Dr. Butt Lasers is one of my mods, and like he'll let me know, like not like in a mean way, but like gives me good perspective. But this is like a while ago, and they're like, oh yeah, that person stole 100%. I was like, well shit, what do I do about it? The answer, absolutely nothing.
What can you do?
What can you do? Like, I'm not going to be an asshole and be like, hey, so-and-so stole my Oops All Urkels idea and put something else, which is what they did. I'm not going to say what it was, but
right.
It just felt bad, and everyone's like, no, it's just flattery. I'm like, no, I actually put a lot of work into what I did, so it kind of sucks, but whatever.
No, and like, don't worry about me scratching out the word Travagacci on my. No, it's again. There's those levels of where, like, oh, where's the line here?
Yeah.
Would I take Oops All Urkels? Probably not. But if there's something else that I'm like, I like that, let me see how I can make my own. And I think that distinguishes like different creators from one another.
Yeah.
And I
think adaptations and like inspiration is totally fine.
Yeah.
Like everything is derivative of something else. Like
sure.
But there's like some specific like ideas and content where it's like, dude, come on, what the fuck?
Yeah. and what you were talking about earlier, how like there is kind of a way to grow through looking at those people and going, oh, I kind of want to do something like that. Not necessarily doing that exact thing. And there are people who do that and they generally get called out.
Yeah.
Not always.
Well, this person got away with it, and it's fine. This was like a year ago. Like,
okay.
It was just really funny to see it happen.
Yeah. What was that like for you? Were you like, what was like that first feeling? Were you like, what the fuck? Or were you just
yeah,
like,
I mean, that was my first feeling of what the fuck? Like, is this in my head? Like,
Yeah.
did they legitimately steal it? And then everyone was in consensus that they did. And the next thought was, what do I do about it? Quickly followed by jack shit. Just let it go. It's fine.
quickly, whatever. Yeah. That's really interesting.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna, if you're making stuff, like, it's probably gonna happen at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't, like, not that I'm like expecting anybody to do it by any time, but so all of a sudden I get like an invitation to like, come to my so-and-so talks thing. We're talking mental health and content creation. I'm gonna be like,
Come to my RAV talks.
Yeah. Just backwards, Vart. Like, huh. That's oddly specific.
Flat Vart.
Like, huh. Okay. So like with that kind of the weird kind of world of, you know, taking those inspirations, who do you think would be some of your big inspirations, or who are your big inspirations? Whether they're
for
big, massive creators, or, I mean, not just streaming, but creators in general. Like,
that's a good question. So my background is in improv and sketch comedy. So like that's a little bit different, but definitely like my approach is very similar to that. Like not always, I don't know. I'm more like down to earth than someone like Tim and Eric, but I would consider them like pretty inspirational as far as like designing weird shit.
yeah.
Bob Odenkirk would be another one from like Mr. Show.
Oh, Mr. Show. I love Mr. Show.
Oh God, I'm glad you like that, because I don't know anyone that likes Mr. Show. Like it's just so disappointing to me.
I don't know exactly what age you are, but I think we're close. Like,
I'm 35.
I'm 31.
Okay, so yeah, we're close enough.
Yeah. I stayed up late watching Mr. Show. Yeah.
Oh man, that was like the reason I got into comedy. I just loved the structure and weirdness of that show, and just the tightness of the writing and everything. It's really weird to see Bob Odenkirk so popular these days because of Better Call Saul, because I will always just remember him from like Mr. Show with Bob and David. So it's really fascinating.
That was my exact thought when I saw Breaking Bad for the first time. I was like,
yeah,
no.
What is he doing here? What is this? It was like watching Noel Fielding on a Great British Baking Show. It's like, you're Mighty Boosh. What is this?
Yeah, seeing creators do like other things, like seeing Mr. Pink fucking make like these sad songs and like everyone loves them. I'm like, no, that's Mr. Pink. Don't fucking lie to me.
But like streaming / like content creation inspirations, like I think because we're both like roughly the same age, I think we might have some overlap. Like the reason I wanted to so I stopped doing improv because of the pandemic and got into this, but I've been watching like YouTube channels for like so fucking long that do retro gaming, like AVGN. I mean, that's just something that like is required, that I grew up on that.
Yep.
Just so fucking many. Like I can't even, like Matt McMuscles is one that I've been watching for a while.
Matt
Gaming
McMuscles.
I know, I love him too. He's great.
I love him. I loved his What Happened series, of course, but like I think he's just he's like he's way smarter than he likes to like almost like put out there.
Oh no, he definitely is holding his cards tight.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I was listening to an episode of this podcast called Retronauts, which I've recently like really fallen in love with. And he was on the episode with Battletoads, and they're like, for some reason Matt is here. I don't know why. And he's like, yeah, I don't know either. I'm the fighting game guy, but it made sense for some reason.
Wait, no, that's Maximilian, dude. No, it can't be two fighting guys.
Yeah, it can't be two. We can only have one. Yeah, and like other ones, like I also like a lot of game history sort of creators, like
Mhm.
I really like just like the cozy sort of approach of someone like gaming historian.
Did you know gaming?
Did you know gaming too? I actually had Did you know gaming's account in my stream a few times, which was very weird.
Wow. How cool.
It was like their social, yeah, it was like their official account, but it was like, I guess, their social media manager.
Mm-hmm.
And they were hanging out during like one of my Castlevania marathons, and it was like really surreal. Like I thought it was a fake account or something. I was like, don't fuck with me. I'm super easy to fuck with.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but I looked at it and it's like it was verified and everything. It was like, that's fucking weird, man. It threw me for kind of a loop.
That's so funny. Go ahead and ban them. I don't believe it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like Donkey's another one, but like obviously like my energy is pretty different from his, and like
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know. My I think I talked about this recently. I forget where, but like my approach to streaming is like just what do I want to see, and I thought about my aesthetic and like just like cozy retro sort of vibes. And everything, like there's this concept in sketch and improv called the game. Are you familiar with that?
Maybe.
So like the game is like, what is the thing that you're trying to achieve, and like how do you throw everything toward that? So the game with my channel, like, or just the gimmick or whatever you want to call it, is just like, how can I heighten like the sense of retroness, of the coziness of like pink and purple and all that shit. So everything in my channel is just like really focused on heightening that specific feeling. Like I just want to feel that thing. That's something I would want to wander into someone else's channel and feel, you know?
Sure, yeah.
But if I was like shout out specific creators, like Trash Kitty is someone that's really inspirational to me in that regard. TravTalks is the guy I was talking about before, who like disappeared for a year and came back. Pando-ish is another one. Kanban Meow is another one.
These are all very cozy kind of people.
Yeah, they're all really sweet, really hardworking people that, like, in my opinion, like all of them should be partner 100,000 times over, and they will be. They fucking give it time. Like I wish it was already true, but give it time.
Of course, yeah. That's sometimes that just takes time and luck, of course.
And a lot of just exposure and luck and just keeping at it. Yeah.
I all those creators. I don't know Draco Tactics, but I do like all those other creators. Like big fans of them. Like throwing them kind of off to the side and just kind of listening, because I'm a mega lurker, and I try and chat, and I'm like, little old me paying attention to little old me. You know, I can't.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things. But Pando's great.
Where you feel like you're. Well, no, explain, because that's interesting. Like, what do you mean by that?
This is my show.
That's an interesting word that you chose there. Little old me. Interesting phrase.
It's all because of my dad. No, it's more. I still take in this kind of like, I am not necessarily worth anyone's like time or space, and I know that's totally a personal thing. Like, and I think you and I even had like a Twitter back and forth about like, because you were like, I kind of want to like get rid of my partner badge, like in chats, so people just see me as a thing and not partner SuperNinBow.
A person, instead of like, oh, like I get people that are like, oh, we have a celebrity. I'm like, I'm just a
guy.
Person. Yeah,
just
I'm
a guy. Yeah, and I found that I've found like in my own head, but I'm just a guy, as opposed to I'm just a guy. Like that's kind of
guy in this world doing guy stuff.
Just bro things. Entering that in my vocabulary.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean though? Like I'm not like in any way flexing that badge. Like I honestly kind of hate it.
Yeah.
Like I'm super grateful to have gotten it. And I'm really, really proud of like my community like getting there. But people treat me so fucking weird.
Yeah.
And I just want like when I hang out in a new channel, I don't want like extra attention. Like I don't want people making a big deal out of shit.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, man. Like I've thought a million times, like, is there a way to like just remove it? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I remember that conversation you and I had. So when you came in, whatever it was, and I was just like, "What's up, man? Good to see you." And like just kind of kept going. And I was like, I hope I even thought in my head, I was like, yeah, like that's because that's what we talked about. Like, I'm not trying to come in here and flex and just be like,
yeah,
all eyes on me. It was like, no, I'm just here. I just want to see your content. We talked about Battletoads.
Yeah, and I don't like hold it against people that do that. I think like they're being flattering. I think they're being nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like all, like you said, it's like projection. It's like, that's just how I feel. I feel like I don't want people to think like I am flexing or like looking for attention or anything. So I do get quiet. I do get quiet in chats because of that.
And just on the opposite side, I don't have a check mark, and I'm wondering like, and you and I have like almost the same thought. Like, do I talk in chat?
Oh, I was like more open to talking in chat before I had this. Like well, it's hard because like I get like really like distracted easily. So I have to not have like something I have to pay attention to chat because I'll get lost in it.
Right.
But I was way more willing to talk in unfamiliar channels before I had a check mark because of like a lot of weird experiences that I've had. It just kind of scared me off a little bit.
Well, I mean, I've heard like these things about how like some people do expect that kind of almost special treatment. You know, they come in and they're like, you know, they expect this kind of thing, or do they just want to be a part, another face in the crowd kind of thing?
Do you think that's pretty prevalent, like that partners expect? Like I'm really not one of those. There's definitely people that propagate this weird like non-affiliate, affiliate, and partner delineations, or like try to spark conflict or like differences between them when really,
right,
like it's impossible to like be blind to. Like, of course there's partners and affiliates and people who aren't affiliated, but like I hate the like kind of, what's the right word for, I was gonna say like class warfare. That's absolutely incorrect, but some analogous thing that's like,
but I know what you're saying. There's
Twitch status warfare, you know what I mean?
It's like a caste system almost.
Caste system, yeah. And it's fucking weird and stupid, and like affiliates get mad at partners because they're like, oh, you know, they've got it so easy, and
almost like you didn't work to get there or something.
Yeah, and they're like getting money thrown at them, and they make so much more, and that's like also not true. Like tier 1 is the same. A lot of people don't know that for some reason. And you're like guaranteed viewership, which again you're not, especially in a dip. And then like it goes the other way where partners are like, oh, affiliates are just trying to take advantage of us, and like, and it's just so stupid on both like accounts, because really like we're just a bunch of people streaming, and streaming is fucking hard for everyone.
Yeah.
In different ways, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's and what Duck just mentioned is that there is a good amount of gatekeeping that happens.
Yeah.
Like there's like this like, oh, you only have the 75. I don't know if that's good enough. Like you got to be like beyond, you know?
Oh yeah. Like there's definitely differences like in partner size too, where like smaller partners do like smaller partners aren't invited to do the same cool stuff that like bigger partners are, and like they'll be excluded from like certain circles just because like, you know, they're smaller. And it's like kids sitting in a cafeteria at lunch. Like you go to certain tables, like it's just humans, you know.
And I think we do find this way of kind of organizing ourselves like separately, you know. Like, and I think that happens regardless, because there's categories. What kind of streamer do you want to be? Do you want to be the...
Yeah.
And I'm not calling anybody out in chat specifically. If this is you, like, go for it. and you like that kind of stuff, go for it. Like if you're the screamy bro who's doing Call of Duty for 9 hours a day, like knock yourself out.
You don't need to call me out like that.
Yes, we all know the top played game on SuperNinBow's channel is Modern Warfare. And or there's the people who do just like exclusively cozy games and like, or exclusively platformers, exclusively retro. Like we end up categorizing ourselves that way.
Yeah.
Without realizing it too.
Yeah, and I guess it's like not very conscious, right? Like we do it just because like we get familiar or comfortable. And I mean, it's not even like a bad thing necessarily. Like social groups are going to exist no matter what, and you can strengthen. It's sometimes good to just be in a group because you need like that support network. Like I know a lot of like implicit sort of groups here where it's like, it's not like a stream team where it's explicitly like this is that group, but like there's definitely like circles that exist, you know?
Yeah.
And that can be for good and it can be for bad.
Yeah, actually, that brings up a point that I didn't get to, like, both of the other people that I've interviewed so far are not on stream teams, and I don't think you're on a stream team either, right? Except for Capcom creators.
For the Capcom, well, and also Garfield, which is the best stream team on Twitch. Excuse me.
Do you feel as though like stream teams are like legitimate, or is it just another kind of thing to kind of categorize and separate?
I honestly like don't know enough about stream teams, or like I don't really use it enough, to be honest. Like, with the Capcom creators, it's weird because it's a really cool, like the stream team, not necessarily the program, but the stream team is interesting because most of it is Street Fighter and Monster Hunter.
Right.
And then there's weirdos like me who made it because of like Mega Man fandom. But it's really hard to find the other ones involved with that to connect with them. I actually have met like a lot of really cool people, including like one of my mods through the program, but like I don't feel like the stream team itself is like something I really pay that much attention to, just because like it's so disparate and it's so big and people have so many like different interests in games that they play.
Right, yeah.
And Garfield, you know, Garfield's pretty funny.
It's kind of a meme team for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a meme team. But I don't really have strong feelings, honestly, about stream teams because like I've heard so much about like drama with them and exclusion.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I actually I don't have any direct experience with these things, that I've heard of some specific drama with one. I'm not going to talk about it, but like not even one, like actually a few where like they have these I don't want to be a bitch. Yeah, no, there's definitely ways people gatekeep with stream teams.
Yes.
I guess I'll leave it there. They have their methods of making people jump through the hoops to ultimately be excluded, and they were always going to be excluded because they're not partners. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, so it's like there is this weird gatekeepiness in multiple different levels. And I was talking with somebody else about the idea of like, if we were all just kind of a little more cool to each other, like, and just kind of more open, and everyone wasn't clout chasing and all these types of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's why you're on my show, is I'm clout chasing. But
clout chasing the dude who's literally not streaming. Right
who's
now.
on hiatus? Yeah. Ooh, you're on hiatus? Ooh, I think we should cancel our interview. No, it's more like, but that exists on like all levels of all content creation. I've found like how can I collab? How can we do this stuff? How can we get to? Oh, how can I like get in with this person? How can I, you know? And it's hard to distinguish the people who are trying to be just like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to make a cool connection.
Yeah.
Versus like, I am absolutely clout chasing, you know?
I think there's definitely bad practices with stream teams and good ones. Like one of the reasons I wanted to be partner was to make a stream team, and I had like this idea for a long time to make like a science education focused stream team.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was just like a lot of work, and I was having trouble finding. I found a few people interested, but like
Sure.
not enough. I feel to like make it a strong team.
Mhm.
I might come back to it, but I think there's like that would be more for like we're all coalescing around some singular cause of like I wanted to like use it to raise money for like science education programs, like museums or science initiatives in like low SES areas and stuff like that. And just like to talk about science and science education and like dismantling myths about like, you know, how to get into higher education, how to do these various things, because that's something I'm really proud of. Or not proud of like in my own endeavors, but also like passionate about.
Yes.
But like the weird fucking stuff with stream teams, like I don't think this is a universally a bad thing. This could be a good thing if you have a lot of interest, but like weird like flexy sort of like audition stuff, like I find that gross personally. I'm just speaking for myself.
Yeah.
Where you put people through the ringer and give them like this hope of like being a part of something that, again, maybe I'm just inferring too much, but I feel like some people will never have a chance just because like some of the people that run these sorts of things only look at like metrics and they're not really looking at the human being and if they would fit within a group of other like-minded human beings.
Yeah, that's tough, because also you'll definitely find people who are like, and I'm not going to name any stream teams specifically, but it's like, oh, but I'm trying to get into that stream team because this huge creator is a part of it, and now if I'm part of that, I might get rated, and it's just this kind of clout chasey thing.
Yeah, well, the whole like raid chasing thing is just weird and baffling to me. Like, you're never guaranteed a raid from anyone.
No.
So people that like consciously try to chase raids, like, I don't understand them. Like,
Right.
I'm not trying to be judgmental or mean. It's just like it seems like a huge waste of time, especially like if you're going out of your way to try and get a raid from a specific individual. It's like you don't know that they're going to do that, so you're making a pretty big assumption. Like it's a high risk, low reward sort of thing.
Right. Gonna scratch out that part of joining your stream. Anyway, no, it's interesting, and you see it with it's one of those things that like I feel like small creators end up doing, and like it's just one of those things that you don't quite realize as a small creator. You don't realize like it's not going to work, or it's not going to do what you think it's going to do.
Yeah,
you know, like because I don't know how often you get this, but every so often you'll get the person that comes in and they're just like, hey, it's good to see you, how's it going, blah blah blah. They start a conversation with you and they're like, anyway, I'm gonna go start stream, bye. And you're like,
yeah,
okay.
I thankfully have not gotten that many people. I got someone like that once, and I just straight up told them like, you shouldn't do that. Like that's really rude.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if you meant to do that. I don't know if you're like new to this or whatever, but like that's not something cool.
Right.
And they never showed up again. But like, rather than getting mad, like I was a little annoyed, but like I was like, they might not know.
Right. They
like,
might not know.
You would assume that they would like know Twitch etiquette, but like especially people that are newer to this might not know these things. So
right,
like,
totally.
I did things when I started out. They were like, not like overtly rude, but like it might have been like faux pas, or like I didn't quite understand the process. And I know if like someone just like bitched me out, like it might be like sort of traumatizing in some way.
Oh yeah, and I think there's also good ways of kind of informing without just being like, listen up, you stupid fucks, like, you know.
Oh yeah, go directly to just chat and get the camera right on you and just point at the camera the entire time.
Zoom straight in, just be like, listen, look at me. Don't look at chat, look at me. Yeah, it's and I think we all have done little things like that. Like I know I fell into the follow for follow thing, you know, thinking that would like increase viewership, but I know it did not. Like thinking, oh yeah, well, and then like those like discords where it's like support for support, like go into others people's chat and they'll come to you. And
Yeah, they're not. They're not. I don't think like even I had this problem with my Discord, and I've seen this with other ones too, where it's like people posting their going lives, and you'll never see any engagement outside of that. You'll never see them on your channel or in Discord or whatever.
Yeah.
And I let it go for a long time because I was like, it's not even like a viable strategy. Like, I don't think it's ever worked for anyone. Like, I might click on someone if I like know them. Like if it's like, oh, so and so, like, oh, I like them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they were live, and I see they're going live. Great. If I don't know them and they're just like in a random Discord trying to chase whatever, I'm not likely to click on that. And
Yeah.
I know people are like trying to find any way to get exposure and traction, which is more of like an institutional problem with Twitch than it is with any individual streamer.
Mm-hmm.
But that is just like not a good strategy. It's just not.
I mean, you see it kind of everywhere, right? It's like the more times my link is out there, the more likely it is to get clicked.
That is
like,
so not true.
It's like I can see the logic there.
Yeah.
I can see the logic. It's just like more eyes on my link, and the chance of somebody clicking it exists. And I go, well, yes, and it's probably not going to work for you.
I could go and put one of my SuperNinBow stickers under a freeway overpass, and technically I'll have SuperNinBow out there in the world more than I do right now.
That's a good idea.
And it's not gonna fucking matter.
Oh, right. Bad idea.
So like it doesn't matter. And I think people just like I said, when you start out, you don't really know how to grow, and Twitch is so intimidating, and you'll take any avenue you can to experience growth. And
of course.
You just, it's like that thing I was talking about earlier with like predatory larger streamers who like offer you these avenues for growth without actually caring about you. And that's why we fall prey, because like it's fucking hard, man. It's hard to grow on this platform.
It's extremely hard. And what you were also saying earlier, and I think this is kind of, it leads into the conversations that I've had in my other 2 interviews, is like, what do we do for ourselves with also like this eventual goal in mind of I would like to grow. Yes, I would like to grow, and whether that's, you know, vain of me or not, it's like I want to grow. I want to become a part of something. I want to show my content to the world.
It's not vain, and it's not something anyone should feel bad for. Like, growth and success are not something anyone should feel bad for wanting or achieving.
You heard it here first.
There are certain people out there that are like, you're like a sellout if you want to make money off of this, or fuck you if you want to, like, you're getting so big, you're too popular. And it's like, that's so dumb. Like, you should be able to achieve success without the guilt of achieving success.
Right. Why is it a bad thing to want success?
It's not.
I think
it's really not.
There's like this weird kind of, maybe it's a social thing. Maybe it's like a social kind of thing for, I guess, content creators in general to like, you gotta stay humble, man. Stay humble.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yes, there is a amount of humility that you should use. Like, NinBow wasn't walking around like, I'm a fucking partner, you know? Look at me. But it was like, you could also be like, look, I did it. I'm excited. You're allowed to be excited.
That's so hard, dude. Like,
yeah.
When it's not, maybe it's a self-esteem thing, but like, telling yourself that it's okay to feel good about yourself when a lot of the times the world doesn't want you to feel good about yourself, or wants you to like have this like, not humility, but more of like, people just want to kind of, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this. They want to keep you down. That's not really necessarily true, but like, people often think that like we can't all rise up together.
Right.
Like it's like a take your turn, or like only one person can succeed at a time. And it's just such a weird sort of mindset, dude.
Yeah. So actually that's something that we, like, I talk about with some of the kids a lot. Like the kids that I work with, they'll start getting excited for something, and then like they'll start apologizing for telling me about these Roblox games. I don't fucking know anything about Roblox, but I'm like listening and I'm excited because they're excited.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, like, you know, people always tell me to like be quiet when I'm getting excited about things. And I'm like, fuck that, man. Like, get excited for something. And as long as you're, you know, as long as you're not like shoving it down people's throats, I think it's fair to be excited about something.
Dude, life is like so short. If you can enjoy yourself and be happy about what you're doing, then why the fuck not? If you're not hurting other people, like, be excited, be happy, like, have a sense of pride. I think pride is like not a bad thing. Like, I'm really proud of like my community. I'm really proud of my channel. I don't like go around flexing it, but I still like am happy with it, and I still feel like I'm allowed to feel good about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shit, man, just like looking, like watching your channel, lurking in your channel and stuff like that. I'm always just like, that's kind of how you want to be. Like, I don't think you changed your fucking, you didn't change everything when you hit the check mark. You weren't like, all right, well, you know, the purple's out and I'm bringing in a no, you know, it was
the only thing that changed, honestly, was like, I like had to work harder.
Yeah.
I didn't like settle. I didn't get complacent with it. I felt like I had something now that I had to prove, and I had a standard I had to live up to.
Oh, okay.
And the only thing that changed, honestly, was I was like way harder on myself afterwards.
See, that's
so it's the opposite of what people would expect, I guess.
It is. Like, because you hear it all the time. It's like, oh, when you hit partner, you got to quit your job and you're good to go. And like,
yeah, no.
You even said earlier, like, no, tier 1's the exact same, you know?
Yeah.
You don't make any more from tier 1 subs. No matter how many more subs you end up getting, still tier 1's all the same.
I think people should, like, if Twitch streaming full-time is, like, your dream, your passion, chase it while remaining realistic. I will always support people chasing what they want to do, again, as long as, like, they're not hurting anyone. If they're doing something that is self-fulfilling and bringing them happiness and hopefully other people, like, fucking do it. Like, I'm 100% in it, but like, Twitch is also a very difficult platform to support yourself financially on, and that's something I think people should realistically calculate.
Yeah. Like the big creators that are out there, right? Fucking, I don't know, Matt Heafy from fucking Trivium, like, big old Twitch streamer, right? Literally is in a band, like, you know, like that, you know, he's not sitting there being like counting all his coin from Twitch. He's like, no, the band is the big piece. Yeah, this is the side piece, and he has his extra side thing of like, this is also what I do.
Yeah,
sometimes, and I'm not throwing away.
And it's fine, I think, to want that money too. Like,
yeah,
people think it's like you're a sellout. Fuck that. Like, I think artists should get paid.
Yes.
And that's what we are. I know that's like super, you know, artsy fartsy, whatever, but like, we're entertainers. You find people on the street like doing paintings or dancing or whatever, and you tip them. We're doing the same thing. It's not like we expect it, but you know, I also like don't feel guilty over getting it. I think other people should get money.
Right. Well, you should, like, you are the quote unquote service you're providing, right? You are providing entertainment. Yeah. And whether that's through comedy, whether that's through speed runs, whether that's through, you know, whatever it is, you are providing a thing. And for you, right, your thing was like, part of it was speed runs once in a while, or they weren't quite speed runs. You called them
challenge runs. Yeah.
Challenge runs. Thank you. You're like, I was doing this, and then you're like, but retro game is kind of where your heart is, so you're like, I'm gonna play those, and you're providing a service.
Dude, if service was proportionate to income, I would be a fucking millionaire for once. You seeing Battletoads, that shit was like
Battletoads super
impossible.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things that if it were like an hourly thing and you're not quite literally just relying on people's generosity, it's so different in the world of content creation.
Yeah.
Like there's no one that's just gonna pay you just because you made a TikTok, right? There's so many more like avenues that it comes down from. Oh, you made this big TikTok, went viral. Okay, now you got to work out a brand deal. Okay, now you got to create content for that brand. Then we'll pay you, maybe, if you read the contract correctly. You know?
Yeah.
So something that I was going to kind of ask you about, we went a little bit away from the mental health part of things, which is fine, by the way. But to kind of go back to the content creation thing, what do you think is like one of the more unhelpful pieces of like advice you've heard or been given or anything like that?
I think the most unhealthy thing I've heard, honestly, is the grind.
Fine. Okay, tell me, what does that mean?
So the grind is basically drive yourself into the ground streaming constantly because you're going to get more raids, because you're going to get more exposure. If you're streaming 24/7, you're going to grow. And here's the insidious part of this is like there's a grain of truth to it, that the more you stream, the more exposure you get, the more traction feasibly you'll find.
Sure.
But people, I've noticed this with a lot of people, where they'll just be going 24/7. They'll be going for like 14 hours straight, like 24 hours straight, and it's not always for special events, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they get they get the metrics, they get the viewership that like will eventually get them to partner, but it's not distributed in a really normalized manner.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they go live for 3 hours, like viewership's not going to be as good because they're not going to get that traction. But if you're going for like 17 hours, you're probably going to get a lot of raids, which gives you an unrepresentative amount of viewership. And that's something I think Twitch does look at when they're approving partnership applications.
Right.
But beside all that, it's just a really like self-destructive process. And I've seen too many people like joking about it and normalizing it. Like one person's like, oh man, I'm like in my car typing in Twitch chat and like, you know, I just got to be on all the time. I'm gonna crash. Or like, I haven't slept in like 5 days. And it's like sure, like I'm not gonna be like, you can't use humor ever, but like
right.
they're not fucking joking. That's the problem, is that they're dead serious. They're killing themselves over this, and it's not worth it. Listen to me, like I'm doing that thing right now.
Yeah.
Don't fucking hurt yourself, your mental well-being, your relationships. None of that shit is worth hurting yourself over, and Twitch is not worth it. And I realize the irony of saying this on Twitch right now, but this shit is not worth losing relationships, forsaking time with your family and friends, finding things that fulfill you as a human being. And this does, don't get me wrong, it does for me, but you have to be like a complete human being, you know, and completely making this your personality,
right?
Completely like just not having any sort of outlet other than this, and just going 24/7. I've seen so many people crash and burn.
Oh yeah.
And even if you get to partner isn't the end. Like you're gonna have to keep going.
Right.
And what are you gonna have left? You're gonna have all of your gas already used. You're gonna be nothing at that point. So that grind mindset, I've just seen it too much, too often. I've seen too many good people burn out and hurt themselves. And the other thing is like, when people grind, they talk like, I'm gonna get that check mark, I'm gonna get that check mark. And the thing that's always going through my head is like, and then what, you know?
Right.
And then what? Like, I'm not trying to sound mean, but it's like, what are you gonna do after that? Like, you're gonna get there, it's gonna feel really good for a little while, and then what?
Right.
It's not the finish line.
Well, because like there's goals beyond that for a lot of people, right? I want to become a full-time content creator, but if like I just want to hit that check mark. It's like, okay, so now you've been doing 17-hour streams every day, sleeping for 3 to 4 hours a night, if that.
Yeah.
You're just like a shell of what you were.
Yeah.
Because you're exhausted all the time.
You're gonna have nothing. Like, it's your life to live. If you're not happy, then why are you doing it? You know? Like, I don't understand why people covet this thing so much. And to be honest, like, I wanted it. Like, I'm a very motivated person. Like, I want the accolade. I want the leverage for, like, negotiating with sponsorships and stuff like that. That's important to me. And it's also, like, a cool metric for growth. But it's also, like, why... Like, when I talked... Here's a good example of something similar, is, like, when I talk to students about grad school, like, my undergraduates...
Right.
I'm like, that's awesome. That's an amazing goal to have.
Right.
Grad school can be this amazing thing, really formative, help you into a career of your choice, right? But, like, why do you want it? Like, what is your end game? Why is that a step that's appropriate, you know? And it's not like it's good or bad for certain people. It's like, it's just a stepping stone. It's just a checkpoint. Like, that's not your finish line. You shouldn't get it just because you want an MA or a PhD just for the accolade.
Because you want the letters.
Yeah, I'm a doctor now. I actually, you know, I just got my doctorate, so I have people actually calling me Dr. NinBow now. Use my real name, but
almost.
Yeah, almost. But it's, like, fucking weird. It's the first time it's ever been appropriate. But I don't feel any different. It's like, I tell them anyway, call me, and then I say my first name. It's just a thing. Like, if you're chasing authority, if you're chasing accolades or any sort of medal, it's nice to have, but ultimately it's not going to satisfy whatever hole you have inside of yourself. That sounds harsh, but you know what I mean.
Right. Well, I can definitely see where you're coming from. I mean, if you have your one finish line, then, like you said, like, what then? What's next?
You have to have a goal. If you're not having fun doing it, like, if your goal isn't, like, to create a cool stream team, or to, like, leverage some sort of sponsorship with a gaming company that you really like, or just like, I want to have more emotes or something, or I want to grow. And growth by itself, it might be more nebulous, like, as a concept, but it's not bad. But just saying, like, I just gotta get to the check mark, I just gotta get there, like, I can sleep when I get there, that is so self-destructive.
Yeah, because you may get there, maybe.
And that'd be great, but
I've definitely seen exactly. I've seen the people, like, 12-hour stream tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. And it's like, like, you do you if you have the time and the want, I guess. But you're just gonna, if you're not, like, exponentially growing, you're just gonna be mad that you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's gonna become this kind of, like, I hate that I'm doing this. Why am I even bothering?
Yeah. And if you're ever tripped up on, like, your own metrics for success, which can be really fuzzy too, right? Like, what does success look like?
Which is so, like, that's nebulous. That is the nebulous question.
Yeah, it's like, what to be completely honest with you, I've had conversations with my friends on here where it's like, I feel like I'm not as successful as I was, or like I'm struggling, or I'm just not doing good enough. And their response is always the same, which is, well, what is good enough? You know, what is success to you?
Right.
Is it your 75 average? Is it, you know, a certain amount of subs? Is it, you know, like X, Y, and Z? And my answer is always, I don't know. I just want to be good again. I just want to be good enough. And the problem is that none of this is well defined whatsoever.
Right. So that quote unquote line that you're supposed to see of good enough, you literally can't see the line.
Yeah. The line is there in your head. It's somewhere. Like, I mean, for myself, when I was having trouble and thinking, like, I'm just letting people down and I'm kind of faltering and I'm going through the dip, which everyone goes through after partnership. Like, I feel like it was so electric before and people liked me and I was doing good stuff and creative stuff and it was fun, and, like, I just want that back. And it's like, well, what was that, you know? Like, what were you doing before? What sort of, it was less about metrics and more of, like, feel, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
Like, when I was doing, like, I mean, if I want to be concrete, like 40 average viewers or 20 or whatever, like
Sure, whatever it was. Yeah.
There'd be times where the chat was just like boom, 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 and I was playing games that I really loved, and things just felt really good. I could have like 100 viewers, and like that's great, but it could be like a dead silent chat, and that's fine. Lurkers, I love lurkers, but it also like has a very different feel to it.
Sure, yeah, I would agree with that.
So it's just like it's so hard to define like what good enough is or what success is.
Yeah, and I think and something that I've talked about with other creators is it's so easy to compare.
Oh yeah.
It's so easy to compare. Like I like my average floats somewhere in like the 20 to 30 range. And then like, but you're over here like, man, 100, I just don't feel good enough. And like my automatic response is to be like, man, fuck you. What is that? Like, but then it's like, no. But there's that line for you is different. And I would never actually meet that. But the idea.
No, and I know, I get you. Like, I wouldn't be upset at all for you thinking that. And there's a part of me, like a non-insignificant part that's like, why do you feel like, by the way, it's not 100 average. Like I had that like for 1 month ever. But like I could have like a lot of people in my chat, and I just feel like it can feel really lonely the more people you have, but the less engagement you have. Where it's like, again, like I appreciate lurkers, but also like there's a certain energy when you have like a bunch of regulars and you're just like going back and forth with each other, and it can be lonely when you go like 5-10 minutes with like just a few messages and you're just talking to yourself, and everyone knows this. Like I wasn't always a partner, like I didn't always have good viewership. I went for a really long time with like 2 or 3 viewers, so it's something I know I was used to. I quit Twitch for a little while just because like I found it impossible to grow. So I know what it's like, and you're right, like your baseline changes as you grow, right? Like it's different even from like the 2 to 3 viewer average to like 5 to 7 to 10 to 20 or whatever, 20 to 30. And if you feel at some point, no matter where you are, if you go from 20 to 10 or 100 to 90 or 5 to 2, whatever, like it can like it's sometimes impossible to ignore. And I know like people might be thinking to themselves, well, don't look at metrics. It's really hard not to, because they shove it down your throat.
They do. And I get like every stream I do, I get like 3 emails with all my metrics. I get like the Streamlabs one, and I get the Twitch one, and you get like you're like, all right.
Yeah. I think you can turn them off, but I've never done it. I just try to not look at them.
No, I usually just delete it. I'm like, I don't need this. It's fine. No big deal.
Yeah.
But it gets in your head a lot, and that comparison can happen so easily. And I feel like that's something that, as content creators, Twitch streamers, whatever it is, you look at the person and you go, well, like, how could they not think that they're successful?
Yeah.
How is that even possible? 75 people, it seems like an impossible number at some points.
Yeah. Well, it's so hard. Like you think that at that level, and I think at my level, I look at people that are like, as soon as they go live, they have like 80 people, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how does this happen? You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's always like a bigger fish, you know, or like, and the thing too is like people don't stagnate typically. Like you're always going up or down. Fluctuation happens. No one's ever stuck for like ever, unless you know they just stop. But yeah, you're always going to compare yourself. I compare myself to people. Like I'll openly admit that I've gone on Twitch Tracker before, and I'm like, so-and-so streams at the same time as me. Like I wonder like what their metrics are right now, and I'll see that and be like, oh. Womp womp.
Yeah, it's easy too. Like, it's easy to like look at those and you just go, dang, like what are they doing that's so different? What are they? Yeah, because like, and what you said earlier, you said this earlier, which was like raids don't equal any sort of like continuity or anything like that.
Yeah.
I got a massive raid once, like over 1,000 people,
Holy shit.
I was like, oh my God, what do I do? You know, like it was a little bit overwhelming, and then I, you know, kind of settled in and just made some jokes like, are there girls in the chat? I'm nervous, you know, like whatever it was.
Yeah.
And but then like a lot of those people I've never seen again, you know?
Yeah, if it's not like if it's not organic, it's not like guaranteed that they're ever gonna come back. Like I've gotten those raids too where it's like a few hundred people, but you know, there are some community members that come in through those raids, but mostly, you know, they might come in, come out, that's fine. But they're not guaranteed to like really stay.
Right. And
raiding is a great engagement and like discovery tool, but it is not necessarily like the best way to get sustained viewership.
Yeah. And finding like trying to kind of rewire what we think raids are like supposed to be, and kind of what they're almost like what they're advertised as also. Like, oh well, yeah, if everybody raids this person, like partner, you know, fucking if we all raid NinBow, like Twitch ambassador, here we come type of thing, which is like the next level up or whatever. But
you know what, I don't even like understand Twitch. I know like Ash said hi as a Twitch ambassador. I don't know like too much about what that even is. That like a step up formally from what partner is, or
I think it's more of like it's more of an exclusive deal.
So it's like I can infer that it means like you represent them in some capacity, but like I
think it's more of an exclusive deal with Twitch specifically. This is my understanding of it anyway. Is it's more exclusive. You're a little more tied to Twitch, but they also increase like they also change the numbers, kind of like when partner you get the number changed a little bit. And you're usually featured on the front page and stuff more because
yeah, I've never even known how to like get on the front page, dude. Like I just assume it's never gonna happen.
I kind of just feel like, all right, like yeah, if I get there, cool. If not, okay, cool, you know.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that I'm not going to be featured on like Mexican Heritage Month. I get that, but the other ways, I have no idea.
Yeah, and it's actually a good tool for like people from like underrepresented identities, like to have like, I think there is the Pride one last month. I don't even remember what is this, September?
Yeah, it's September.
But yeah, they have Black History Month, Pride Month. Like I think those are great for months that don't have some sort of they're not working to increase visibility of certain identities. Like I don't even know like how they find random streamers for front page, other than like, you know, the people that are already polling 5,000 viewers, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if they tailor that to your people that you watch, or you know, because it's like, well, I watch these people, so are you gonna give me more of those people, or are you gonna just give me some rando that you picked out of the thousands viewer crowd, you know?
Yeah.
As long as it's not any of them hot tub streamers. Anyway. JK, you're a hot tub streamer. Make your fucking bag. Absolutely. Love that.
You know, the funny thing about that people get mad about hot tub streamers, like, we're not directly competing with them. Like, I don't feel threatened by them, and they certainly don't feel threatened by me, because I ain't gonna do it. No one wants to see that. So, like, it's not like this is not something that we're directly competing with. So it's whatever. No one's gonna come to my stream, see someone's hot tub streaming, and then leave to go see that. Like,
right.
And vice versa. So who gives a shit?
I'm like, I have a friend who does them, like, and I know her in real life, and she's like, she does them, and she's like, well, like, if we're ever on Twitch at the same time, like, I'm like, yeah, and like, people that are coming to see me are not coming to see you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
We like
so people, yeah.
They're coming to see you in the hot tub, writing their sub names on the banana that you have floating in the pool. Knock yourself out.
I don't understand. I've been in like retro streams before. People like complain about hot tub streamers, and it's like, dude, there's literally no cross pollination here. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah, they're gonna get. Make your fucking bag. Like, do it. Do it.
I will say, you shouldn't bang on stream though.
No, but apparently that's only like
That's
a
just
week
TOS
off.
violation
So
right there. Nope. Yeah, they got like 5 days or some shit.
yeah, it's
like,
only a
that's
week
wild
off. No
to
big
me.
deal.
Yeah, they're worn out anyway. It doesn't matter.
Clearly no biggie. People apparently do that on like TikTok streams, and that's worrisome as also.
Well, the thing is like, I'm not like a prude. I don't care in the sense that if this is an 18+ platform, people are fucking all the time. Like, whatever, it's an 18+ thing, and they had some safeguard to keep kids off. The problem is, kids are on here. I fucking know kids come to my stream. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know, but I know just based on like the way that they talk and stuff, and I feel like bad. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't want them there, not because like I'm an asshole and don't like kids. I do laugh at them fall down. But like, I don't want them there to hear me swearing and showing Mega Man butts. You know what I mean? Like,
and not so wholesome things. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that I've definitely thought about, and that's like why I put the quote unquote safeguard on the channel. And I know you can literally click right past it. You can literally just be like, click, done. You know? But because like anybody can literally be like, yeah, of course I'm 18, and Twitch is not going to be like, hey, all right, send me your ID. Like,
Yeah.
They're like, whatever. We get the viewership, and if you happen to also give us money at the same time, we're for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's your parents' money. Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, we were my brain got totally lost reading some of the things about the chat. But yeah, I think it has been about 2 hours, and I know you said about two and a half.
Yeah, I can keep going. I just like it's like wild this week. I'm starting my classes and workshops and stuff this week, so I
Sure.
still have to finish, but I'm really enjoying the conversation, so I can keep going. I'm good.
Well, I wanted to. I also like to, and you can obviously like veto it, but I usually do like kind of Q&A at the end type of thing. Like,
oh, for sure.
If people have questions for you, me, both of us, you know, what do you like? And that can be kind of anything and everything, and also of course is respecting your time.
Yeah. If you want to jump into that or continue whatever, like. It's your
yeah,
show,
I don't have like I don't really have a time limit. I'm good. I'm getting a little hungry, but that's about it. But
do you eat on stream?
I try not to. It feels a little weird, but there have definitely been times where I'm just like, y'all, I'm fucking starving. Like,
yeah.
It's usually
we're humans, like we gotta eat sometimes.
Yeah, and for super long streams, like if I've done like a 12-hour, or even when we did like the 24-hour, like we ate on stream for sure. But if it's like, you know, if it's like a 3 or 4 hour, I try to avoid it. I usually drink a fuck ton of liquids on stream, though, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, and then you gotta pee constantly.
Yeah.
I can't. I really get hungry sometimes. Like I've done marathons before for like my birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I do want to eat, but I have like this is weird. I have a really small throat. So it's really hard for me to like swallow without chewing for a while, and it's hard to avoid this becoming a mukbang stream in that way. So it's like, if I'm gonna eat, this shit's getting turned off. There's no way, because I got that tiny baby throat. Like, what
an odd thing.
It's really fucking weird, and I hate it, and I choke all the time. It's really fucking weird. I got screwed genetically.
That's not like it's not a medical quote unquote issue, but
it's not something identified. But like, if I chew too little or swallow too fast, I will straight up choke.
Whoa.
And I'm a grown ass man. I know how to like chew my food. It's like, I just think I have a small throat.
I'm a grown-ass man. I know how to do this.
I'm a grown-ass man.
Doing it for a long time. Oh, something I just realized. I realized it when you were talking earlier about Mega Man. Have you heard of the Proto Men?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm wearing their shirt right now, and I was like, I wonder if he's heard of the Proto Man.
Oh, I didn't even see it. I saw the top half. That's awesome. I love that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
sweet.
They have like an 80s cover album too that the cover up, right?
Yeah, the cover up's really good.
Oh god,
But
all their shit is so good.
And I love their original stuff too, because first of all, they wrote a fucking like rock opera of Mega Man, and I'm like, that shit's cool as hell.
Light Up the Night is like one of my favorite songs.
It's a great song. It's a great song. And that dude's got a fucking voice on him.
Yeah, he does.
Choking on food as I type.
Some
so for the
problems.
Hashtag it. Start a trend. So anybody in the chat who has any sort of questions for NinBow, me, both of us to kind of answer, we're definitely paying more attention to the chat now. I promise we weren't ignoring it earlier.
I was ignoring it.
Fuck them.
I've turned. You know what? I've taken this hiatus to turn heel. That's the real reason.
Turning full evil. This is my villain arc. No, it's. I think I've seen quite a few people recently take a hiatus. You're one of them. Shlee, who was in the chat earlier, she's taking one for like the month of October.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite a few things. I keep seeing like multiple people, and I'm like, I wonder if there's. I know it's not like it's like a fun trend, but it's more like.
Yeah, it's like a TikTok trend right now. It's just
self-care TikTok trend. I might be able to get behind, honestly.
You know what? That's funny that you mentioned that though, because I have seen a lot of people taking hiatuses. It's great, dude. It's really hard. Like, you know that you're going to suffer some loss of your community, but at the same time, like, if it's like that glass, you know, if you have an empty glass, how the fuck are you drinking? Like, you
can't pour from an empty cup. I say it all the time. Can't pour from an empty cup.
That's what I was trying to say, and I forgot what the phrase was. I work in an office, and my office is shared with the mental wellness person for my university, and I barely worked with them, but like I can already tell, like, I'm just kind of looking over there constantly, like, what can I learn from you?
Show me your ways.
Yes, exactly.
No, part of being a therapist is kind of just modeling good stuff for the kids, you know? At least just kind of being like, listen, you're allowed to like what you like. Like, I have my nails painted, I have long hair, and I'm a guy.
Fuck yeah.
And like, I'll have kids come up and straight up be like, but like, don't people think you're gay? And I'm like, and if they do, like, what's wrong with that?
Who cares? Who gives a shit? Dude, I haven't painted my nails in a while just because, like, I get lazy. But I live in a really conservative area, and I used to go out with my nails painted, and I would get the weirdest fucking looks. I'm like, what is this, like, how does this affect you in any way? Like, this changes nothing for you.
Nothing.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Nothing. All right, there were a couple questions that we kind of missed here. Not really a question, just want to say I really respect all that you both do, and thank you, Trav, so much for doing these interviews. Matt, you're going to make me blush. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, soon.
Is there one particular problem that you notice among new-ish streamers you guys wish people would figure out faster?
Why don't you answer that first, because I'm thinking mine.
Follow for follow doesn't fucking work.
No, it doesn't.
Ever. No, none of these support for support, follow for follow, they don't work. They never have worked, and they will continue to not work. That is what I wish young streamers would figure out more, and what I wish I could go back a year ago and tell Trav. Or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I've been on this for 2 years.
Don't think about it. Don't worry. Don't think about time ever for any reason.
It never happened. It's not a thing.
I guess my answer to that is like more of a general thing. I want to like give advice or like a perspective that I haven't already mentioned, but like, don't assume that people care. And that's interesting. Yeah. That sounds really rough. But here's the thing: people's natural state is not caring. Yeah. And it's not because they're malicious. It's because they, you know, Why would you care about something you don't know anything about, right? Like,
Right.
why would you care about a person you've never met before? So the thing when you're starting out is don't assume that like everyone wants to see you and everyone knows you and all that. Like, build that shit up and make people buy into it. Like, show people who you are and why you stand out as an individual,
Yeah.
and why your community is different from other communities, you know? Like, you have to make people care, because they're not going to come in, they're on your side in the sense that they want to be entertained, but I see too many people that are like, yo fam, what's up, and they're just like emulating other streamers, but like really what they should be doing is standing out as an individual.
Yeah.
And showing like an authentic version of themselves and bringing something to the table that
Sure.
other people can't provide.
Right, and there's something to be said for, again, like we even like mentioned this earlier, emulating those that you like and you like respect and whatnot, but also making it kind of your own thing. You know, how many like, because there's 100 million streamers out there that are all doing the exact same thing, where they're staring quietly at their screen until something happens, swearing a bunch and maybe throwing in a slur, and then they go on to Twitter and bitch about how they're not growing or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, well,
that actually brings me to another one.
Oh, hit me.
I'm glad you said that. I think I'm a little bit of a hypocrite with this lately, because I have like gone dark NinBow and I'm like a little bitchy on Twitter. But people bitching on Twitter incessantly about like their Twitch, like I see a lot of people like, I think it's just a really mentally challenging thing to do. Mentally and emotionally challenging thing to do is streaming. And I see a lot of people going on Twitter and just saying like, no one fucking cares about me. I hate streaming. Why am I doing this? And then they're like, okay, I'm going live.
Yeah. All right. See you in an hour, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, if you're clearly so unhappy with what you're doing, so visibly like distraught, why would you think a new person would go in? Again, that sounds like harsh. That sounds tough, but
pity
like,
views are
really,
not going to be what you want.
You don't want pity views, no.
No. And I think that's, I think we even talked a little bit about like people weaponizing that.
Yeah. I've been gone for a week. Oh my God, I missed you guys. Oh, I love you. It's like, all right.
Well, and dark NinBow. But there is a bit of that, and that could even, I think some of those people aren't like consciously weaponizing it.
I don't think they're consciously doing it either. Some are, but not all.
Yeah, I don't think they're sitting here going like, oh, this will get them. You know, I think they're just going like, as you know, I legitimately miss streaming, and I miss talking to the people in my chat, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know what goes through people's, I don't think anything goes through people's minds when they make those kind of posts. Like, I don't think they're really thinking about it, honestly. Right. Like, they're just really distraught, and I get that. Like, but that's again why we need to have actual support networks and not just, you know, Twitch itself is the support network as an entity,
right? As
a channel, whatever. Like, we need to actually make connections with, not connections like networking connections, like emotional support connections, friendships, as some people call them. I sound like a fucking alien, by the way. I'm like, emotional support connections. They're called friends.
Beep boop friendship.
But yeah, we need to have friends. We need to have actual friends who like we need to have streamer friends specifically, because these are people who understand like the challenges and pitfalls and all of those things. Like, you can say, I had a hard time with this, and the other person's like, yeah, I get it, because I, you know, am in the same space as this.
Right. Oh no, I mean, I've literally seen people like, I've definitely like seen the people like, man, like when people are like, I don't know what's going on. I am this dip in viewership, dip in metrics or whatever, and you go, oh well, like it's normal, and you're trying to like help normalize it with your streamer friends. But yeah, what Snowman said was like, I like visibly like cringe seeing those things.
The tag all your favorite streamers. I definitely watch.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Or like, or they like screen cap like the 10,000 bits thing, and they're like, "Who should I drop this on? Tag them." And you're like,
my favorite is Dark NinBow's about to come out. Is when people put the tag your favorite streamers every fucking day.
Yeah. Every day.
Saying. Just saying.
I'm
getting more and more specific with my bitchiness, so I should probably chill out.
I think if we're I don't think as long as we're calling out names.
Yeah, we're not calling out names. We're calling out behavior, and if here's the thing that I thought about.
If the shoe fucking fits.
If the shoe fits, here's the thing though. Like if someone is like, "Are you talking about me?" It'd be like, "Well, if I am, that doesn't really look good on you, does it?"
Yeah. Like I'm not. I just put a boot out there. You put your foot in it. Like
you're the one, and you could also be like, "Well, I mean, I didn't say I was talking about you. That's really weird that you would think that."
Yeah. We're just like
I don't know.
We're just subtweeting out loud right now.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like the thing with like not naming names is just because I don't want to fight, but I also am just so sick of sitting by and watching. Like I have no scruples calling out bad behavior, even if it's specific bad behavior.
Right.
Because I think it doesn't only apply to one person, although we probably can consider a few people right now that we both know.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that this is general behavior that goes beyond the few people that we're thinking about. So when you call it the behavior itself, it's not like spotlighting anyone in particular. It's like for anyone that might be thinking of emulating this or thinks that this is acceptable behavior,
right.
It's absolutely not. And it's super predatory and shitty. You know?
This right here, this is the issue. And people can see that, and people are doing it still. That becomes more of a problem. It's bringing awareness to an issue, and if the people are continuing to be as part of that problem, that's like fucking. That's like racist and sexist behavior. So you're like, that's the issue here, and if you happen to keep doing it, that's on you. You know?
Yeah. I just wonder how much like is like self-aware with this sort of stuff. Like I wonder if it's just like brainless emulation of predatory behavior, or if it's like I know what I'm doing and I'm kind of flexing. Like, you know, like, like I can name politicians like fucking, I'm like, I hate conservatives.
That's fine.
Like I really hate like white nationalist bullshit, and I think everyone should. I hate fascism.
Everyone should.
Like, everyone should.
That's racism.
It's racism, and hey, guess what? Racism is bad.
Turns out, it's an issue.
Yeah, it turns out that fascism is really just not a cool thing to do.
Turns out that didn't really work out for anybody.
But you know, I can name like names there, like those dumbass conservatives that are like, they know that they're being manipulative, they know that they're evil, and like I think they get off on it. And I wonder with Twitch streamers if it's something similar with some people where it's like, I know what I'm doing, I know I'm weaponizing this, I know it's highly effective, and boy does it get my rocks off. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if that's true.
Something about this, just fucking, I'm over here rock hard, man.
Show me your favorite streamers.
It's just some all fucking bricked up. Tag
Can't
them.
wait to post this in 2 hours.
Like scheduling tweets and getting off. Who wants a raid? Oof. Yeah, I think that one bothers me. Like those obviously are just so cringy, and then the kind of like I can see right through this kind of like fake inspiration thing that people try a lot.
Yeah. Oh God. And the thing with that is like, I think there's genuine stuff to be said for like solidarity and voicing experiences and shit, not just like the, oh, you're doing great, like that sort of shit, but like, you know, times are hard sometimes. You know, it can be challenging on stream, and you know, everyone fails in certain ways, and you'll succeed if you keep going. Whatever, like those things are fine. It's the empty platitudes that are just knowingly pushing emotional buttons for vulnerable streamers that is just so And then it just depresses and frustrates me to see comments like, "Oh my God, you're so inspirational." It's like, no, you're not. You are a fucking wolf. Like, how are people not seeing this?
Yeah, the dark NinBow.
I can't help it because it depresses me.
Well, becoming aware. I guess that's ignorance is bliss is such a real thing too, right? Like, if you're not taking a look at exactly what these people are doing, like you're like, oh no, I see this. I can see right through this, like, not genuine. You're doing great, sweetie. Like,
yeah.
Okay. But does that do anything, or are you just trying to be like, oh, please comment and like this so that you feel better? But it mostly is just for me.
Retweet it so it gets traction and visibility and all that. Or
retweet if you've ever felt this way.
And there's other people that are, this is just turning into a venting session, whatever, it's fine. But like other people that are just like, you know, I made partner in 10 minutes and so can you. And it's like, oh my God, no, they can't. No one does.
No one does.
You're also a liar. No one fucking does. Don't propagate this highly unreal standard. And then when people don't recognize this or they don't reach that goal, they're going to feel terrible. And of course they're not going to reach that goal, not because they suck, because it's just like a fucking unrealistic standard.
Yeah.
So stop flexing. Stop your humble bragging. Stop creating these impossible standards for other people that no one's going to live up to, and they will feel awful about themselves when they don't. It's just it's so predatory and disgusting, and I can't believe so many people lap it up. And they're not dumb. They're not dumb.
They're not.
They're just like vulnerable, you know, and they want to hear what they want to hear.
And like okay. It's like I have like 2 specific people, and I'm just like, okay, no.
Here, wait. You want to type one to me on Discord right now?
Can I?
Yeah, yeah. I'll give you a yes or no, but we're not gonna put this out there.
Okay.
We're not gonna put this out there. It's just too much for me. I just have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, good. No, we're not being subtle about it either. I should. Okay, I do have to like pull back. I don't want to start anything with anyone.
No.
Again, I believe in calling out the behavior, not the person. It is just kind of funny that like this person is just so egregious in their behavior that we're both obviously on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah. People just need that validation instead of the cold hard fact that the site is just volatile and inconsistent, so everyone experiences it differently. That's a great way of putting it, Snowman's. Honestly, like that is a great way of just like, because it is. I don't go into stream going, all right, I hope one of the biggest raids I ever got, actually I think it was the biggest raid I've ever gotten, was I don't know if you know Saint Peach.
No.
But she sent like 1,200 people at me, and it was like super kind. But I don't sit there going like coming into stream every day being like, I hope I get that again.
Yeah.
You will leave disappointed every time.
Yeah, it's just like it's not gonna happen.
Mm-mm. And it is inconsistent. It's totally inconsistent. Like it's a good thing and a bad thing that you can go on a Twitch tracker and like see people's like kind of stuff, which we talked about earlier. It's not good to compare, but it's also like you can see big, huge partners and stuff like that. They fluctuate too.
Yeah,
they fluctuate too. They're going up and down, and you can see like their average kind of like, oh look, July did really well. August kind of went down a little bit. School started or whatever.
Know.
Yeah,
you never know. You never know with anyone, partner or not, like what causes the fluctuations. Which is why, like our brains. You're a therapist. I'm a psychologist. Like we're wired as humans to recognize patterns even when they're elusive, like they don't actually exist. So we're always putting things together. And if you don't know what's causing fluctuations, your brain's going to go like wild and trying to make connections. And these connections are going to be fallacious most of the time. Like they're just like made up. Where it's like, oh, I used a VTuber for too long or something that caused my dip, or you know, I played a game people didn't like. It might be true, but it might also not be. You know, you get your metrics, you get your numbers, but like making causal assumptions about them is like almost impossible most of the time.
Yeah. Well, I've found that I definitely like, and I know, like you just said, we find those patterns. It's like, oh wow, the numbers were lower today, and then I'm like looking at like, oh, well, what time did I go live? Okay, did I talk in enough people's chats today? And did I do that? You know, like you literally have no idea, and there is no way to tell. It just happens. Sometimes it happens and it goes great. There's 100 people in here, awesome. And this time I can't believe why would I play Zombies Ate My Neighbors? Nobody knows that fucking game. Ah, damn it, you know.
I love that game.
I love Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
It's so good. It's so hard, dude. I can't get past the spider though.
I never beat it as a kid. And I kind of want to, and now that I think you could do the online, right?
Yeah, there's a one with like that and Ghoul Patrol.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Fuck yes. Okay.
Yeah. I'm down for that because I've never played Ghoul Patrol, and I've never done co-op with Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That'd be fun.
I did it with my dad, but my dad sucks, so. I was like, Dad, stop! I agree with Malkov here as well. Is I hope I'm saying that right, first of all, and I think it's hard to not look at those metrics. They literally shove them at you. I had to turn off my viewer account for that exact reason. I was like, okay, keep looking at this.
Oh my God, can I go back to the earlier question about things not to do when you start?
Yes.
Don't fucking put that viewer count on your overlay. What the fuck is this?
Oh yeah, don't like that.
Stop doing that.
Ooh, don't like that.
I did that. I fucking am guilty of that when I started, and it was like it had like 1 or 2 people streaming, and I would see it and I'd be like, oh, turn that shit off. Why are you looking at that? Why does anyone need to see that? No one needs to see that, especially you.
Yeah.
No one needs to see that.
Oh no, yeah, don't do that. There you go.
I don't even know like why I did it. I think I did it because everyone else did it. Why is everyone else doing it? Fuck if I know. It's a bad idea.
No, when it was Tank Bros, Cam was like, we should have that, and I vetoed that one. We had to veto it. Like he was allowed to keep the viewer count in the Streamlabs or whatever we used. Yeah, the slobs we used. But you cannot put it on the overlay. Don't do that.
Oh God, I just don't know why it's there. And I'm not judging anyone for doing it because I did it too. I don't even know what my own reasoning was. It was just like going with the crowd on that one, I guess.
And you say something in an immediate number reaction for unrelated reasons. Oh, yeah. Like you'll notice that in your own brain. You're like, I'll be playing Fall Guys and some weird will happen and I'll say something kind of off the fucking record or whatever it is. When I started yelling at myself as both Marty and the doctor from Back to the Future. I can't get it, Doc. Oh, you're gonna get it, Marty. Like I was just doing that, and then like my numbers dropped, and I'm like, oh, people didn't like that one.
Man, people really hate Back to the Future. I should have known.
I should have known.
What an unpopular film.
No one's ever heard of it, I guess. The PS4 overlay. Yeah, I feel you, Aaron. I wish it wasn't a part of it for the people who stream on their PlayStations and stuff. I was just.
Is that serious? Is that like a thing baked in?
Yeah. Unless you hide the chat altogether, it's always there.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Is it okay to acknowledge they're there? Like example, if they're lurking but not chatting. I've done that occasionally. I personally would say no. Like just it like I think it creates like this like almost like pressure, like because sometimes I am just you're just up on the side screen, like that is what you're doing. I'm working or I'm doing something else, like you are just over here. And then if like I hear someone's like, hey, Super Trav's here, and I haven't said anything in the chat, I'm gonna be like, that's odd.
Oh, so is Duncan asking?
I think that's what Duncan's
at. Acknowledge lurkers?
Yeah.
Like
I think acknowledging and calling out are different.
As an entity. Yeah.
Lurkers as like as a group of people, totally. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Like saying like, I appreciate if you're lurking here, you know, I appreciate you here, without calling out specific names. Definite, like, okay, like everything is preference that we're saying.
Totally.
But I think like it's popular consensus, and this is just in bad taste. Like you see someone like don't fucking. I want to stay away from things like saying don't or do or whatever. But going in and looking at like who's in the viewers, I did that like when I was starting, but I never like, you know, would call it out. But there are people apparently starting out that do that. Don't do that, because it just makes everyone uncomfortable. Some people just want to lurk. Like it's good to be acknowledged, and that's why you can acknowledge lurkers as like an entity in your stream. Like, hey guys, I appreciate you if you're just hanging out here not chatting. That's fine. Like, yeah, chill out. But being like, hey, I was gonna like actually do the thing because I was.
Were you gonna call someone out of my chat? What the fuck?
No. But I'd be like, hey, John Bonsai, I see you just joined us. Hope you're having a good time. Hey, you haven't followed yet. Remember, you can do a follow. The follows are anonymous. Now, that would be funny if the follows were anonymous, but you call out
You're calling out thy name, yeah. Interesting, your account was created a while ago, but I don't see a followed since.
Yeah, it's so weird. You're not subbed. You know, you could do a Prime sub, and that's free. You get one of
those are free.
It's just, yeah, don't do it. It makes people feel really, really fucking uncomfortable.
I would say, yeah, I would agree with you can call out lurkers as like the group themselves. Like, hey, if you're lurking, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. But don't pressure them to do like anything more than lurk.
Yeah.
Like, hell, I don't even like really do that with my stream anymore. I do that when someone follows. Like, I do have anonymous alerts, so I'm like, if you just want to chill and lurk, whatever. If you want to jump into the chat, introduce yourself, that's fine. But like, if you just want to be here and watch, and you just followed so you know when I'm live, like, whatever. Yeah. Like, I get that. This is like a podcast for most people. This is a podcast, but streaming in general for a lot of people is like asynchronous, or like they're not interacting. It's just you're just listening, you know, or watching.
Yeah. Yeah, just calling people out specifically feels weird. Anyway, I noticed you haven't followed Super NinBow, right? NinBow.
Definitely NinBow, yeah.
Actually, I have no idea if you follow or not. Because I don't like to check that.
How do you even check that?
I think if you literally click on people's names, it'll say like followed since.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm about to do something.
Okay, what do you got?
I swear to God. Here, I'm gonna do something.
Okay.
I realized for some reason that I wasn't following in the very beginning of this, and I was like, oh fuck, I can't touch this until way later. I thought I followed you before. And I was so embarrassed. I was like,
I just kind of assumed it happened at some point.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
you're doing this for clout.
But apparently not. So you were like, I wonder if you can check. I'm like, oh fuck, don't please.
I know you can check. I just never do.
That's just so funny. Yeah, no, you know what's funny though? Like sometimes I do like get unfollowed from people, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because like
Twitch will do that.
Following.
Twitch will unfollow for people for sure.
That's so weird. Whatever, I'm following now. Here, you know what? I kind of want to unfollow and follow again just for the alert.
Yeah, I don't think it does that. I don't think it does it.
Son of a bitch.
I know.
But yeah, like calling people out. Don't do it. It's fucking weird, dudes.
Try not to.
Don't check and see if someone's following or not.
100% a joke, by the way. I had zero idea that you weren't following.
Oh no, it's and it wasn't that I was consciously not following, but when I saw that I wasn't and this started, I was like, oh fuck. you know that Jordan Peele meme where like the sweat is just beating down his face? That was me like, oh no.
I can't even believe that. It's hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. Wow. I was looking for other questions. I don't see many other questions, but I saw Snowman said I wanted to stop by a high school friend's chat who started streaming to help them out, and then they called me out. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. I wouldn't like that.
What did they even say? Like, did they just like try to engage you, or do they like? I don't think I've ever had someone do that to me, so I don't even know like what it looks like.
Oh, so like if you're just like in someone's chat, right? If you're just like lurking and you haven't said anything in chat, and then someone's like, "Oh, NinBow's here. That's fun," and you're just like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I don't know, man. I hear it happens all the time. I've never actually had it personally happen to me.
Yeah, I don't think I ever have myself, but
I would leave immediately. Like, I'm not trying to be
mean. Saying.
I would be out so fucking fast if that happened.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about shoutouts that play people's clips? I honestly don't love them. Oh, I like.
Do you want me to go?
I like them.
Oh, you like them?
I kind of do. Yeah. What's so funny is it always gives like a Tank Bros clip. So I'm always just like, well, that was like a year ago, but yeah, just play on. You know.
So what do you like about them specifically?
I just like it is a random clip, so sometimes there's just like clips that don't fucking mean anything and doesn't give you a good idea of anything. I do kind of like that small little preview of showing what the streamer's all about, and also just like I do it for very select people. I don't just shout like anybody and everybody out type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
do you shout people out like for not raids, like just randomly too, right?
Every so often, yeah. For certain people that I'm like, oh my god, yeah, hey, what's up? Can I grab one from you? Aaron's one of my mods. He's like, we don't, because I think it's fine. Plus, like, the clip does give me a chance to also like drink water and just kind of like.
That's true.
Let the content be there for a hot second.
I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I think it's like really subjective.
Totally.
I personally hate them.
Oh, okay.
Because like I don't like to go into another stream and someone play a clip of me for several reasons. Like, I don't like to be the center of attention when I'm in someone else's stream. Like, that's probably the biggest one. But I also feel really bad for the other streamer because like it's usually some bullshit like accident clip and it goes on for like a minute.
I have so many like I try and go through and delete them, but people randomly will like clip my starting scene screen and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And then the poor streamer is just like, oh hey, oh man, you gotta go check out SuperNinBow. He doesn't clean his clips evidently. Okay, anyway, let me do another one. It'll be better. Here, this has happened, by the way. They're like, let me do another one. I'm like, please fucking don't. And they do another one. Oh, this is a good one. This is yeah, he the funny things in a. Anyway, check out SuperNinBow. I'm sure he's great.
This is your channel trailer. Cool.
And I'm just like, oh, please. Oh no.
don't even perceive me, please.
Yeah, I feel bad. I think someone said, Fletcher Moose, you're saying you appreciate the sentiment, and I do too. It's not like I'm like mad. Yeah, I'm embarrassed for myself. It's my fault.
Yeah. Yeah, and I somebody said like when it shows like the profile picture and does like a little jingle and it's like check out so and so. Yeah, I like that too, and I've debated like doing that instead. I don't know. I think yeah, it can be both. It can be both.
I think it's cool too. Like I've seen some people do this. We might have had this exchange on Twitter too, where like someone was like, what do you prefer? And I've seen a few people like ask like, is it okay if I show a clip, or do you want me to show a clip? And like, no, it was with someone else actually. I think it was Gigglepuss I was talking with about this, but like they started like asking people if it was okay, and apparently most people are okay with it, but I mean I wouldn't. But I think I'm like the extreme outlier. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority on this one, but yeah, I think it's just like one of the subjective things.
It's definitely super subjective. Some people hate watching their own clips. So and I get it, because there are definitely some clips that people have made of me that I'm like, why did you clip that?
Yeah. And it's hard to keep up with them, not like because there's so many people clipping, but like every stream I have like 1 or 2 accidents, like maybe even I do it, I don't know. And it's like they'll fucking play when I get shouted out, and like again, the biggest thing for me is just like not I don't want attention, but also like I don't want to waste people's time or like make stream awkward for anyone, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. I hear that. I think I told NinBow this once before it came up in his stream, but one time that happened in a stream I mod in, and the clip was the streamer getting mad at a game and destroying their keyboard. Ugh.
Was it funny mad, or was it like legit like that's really uncomfortable? Dude, gamer rage in general is just so fucking weird and gross to me. Like I don't understand it, especially in retro.
I'm the same way. Like I've definitely gotten mad at games. Don't get me wrong. Like I think that's a normal reaction sometimes, because you're getting frustrated. You've tried something 1,000 times, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I've never once thought to myself, I better destroy something. Like,
yeah,
because that feels like, if I'm sitting here like I'm gonna punch this keyboard, it's like, no, this keyboard is expensive. Why would I do that? You know, like,
don't have money to be doing that, dude.
Yeah, like people like whip their controller at the wall, and I'm like, that's $70. What are you doing? Like, now you gotta go buy a Mad Catz.
Oh no, you don't want that. Well, you know what? If you have a Mad Catz by default, you can break that shit. It's fine. It's not gonna like make.
Well, those are like $15. So.
No, not even like because you'd have to buy a new one. It's just like literally so fucking like bad.
Yeah.
No amount of damage will make a difference. It sucks.
They're like the Nokia of controllers.
Yes.
Yeah, it works, kinda, but you cannot destroy it. You run an issue with an 18+ streamer rating a non-18+ stream and getting a bad clip. That's a solid point, actually. That's a solid point.
Yeah, I've seen things similar to that, where like non-18 pluses go into 18+. Like when I used to be like a clean streamer when I started, like it was very like family friendly stuff, and I was doing Mario Maker and shit, and I rated into someone that was like drunk and showing her boobs on camera.
Whoa.
And this was really early on, and I was still like really green with like OBS and stuff, and I hadn't pushed the stop stream button. And I recorded my reactions in real time to it, like, and it was on the VOD, and I was like, what the fuck? Oh my god, what the fuck is she doing? Oh shit, this is still going.
That's hilarious.
It was rough. I kept it up though, because it's funny.
Because it's funny. Yeah. I get gamer rage a little more frequently than the average time working on it. That's all right. I understand, like, it is a normal reaction to get frustrated with a game. And it's the gamer rage is one thing for just being like, oh, I am so frustrated. And
yeah.
I play up my quote unquote rage for the camera, like that's where like the Back to the Future thing came from. That's not real rage, you know? But there was one time I remember like legitimately getting like mad, and like I just like seethe in it. And my community was like, you all right? You okay?
Yeah. Dude, like, it's funny how rage manifests. Like, I play a lot of really hard games, and I get mad, but my mad is more of like if I'm like, piece of shit, whatever, like I'll go on a tirade. Like, I'm not actually mad. I like you, I'm like playing it up.
Yeah.
If I'm actually mad, I get quiet.
Right.
Like,
I see.
I'm not like yelling. I'm like, piece of fucking Adventure Island. Fuck
Dude,
you.
That's so real. It's so real. I was like, I think it was Fall Guys that I was just like, motherfuckers just making it not fucking fun for anybody. What the fuck is the point if you're not trying to have a goddamn good time? And they were just like, yo, Travis, you all right? And I was like,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's the creepy, quiet anger that's like the bad stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think streaming has actually helped with my gamer rage. Oh, so yeah. That's a solid point because it's like, oh, people are actually like looking at me, so maybe I gotta dial it in a little bit.
That can actually go in the opposite direction too, though, because there's like some people that get like traction from like screaming at games, and like
Sure.
I'm not making a qualitative assessment on that, but like you can definitely become more like toxic might not be the right word for it, but like more aggressive because people like egg that on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely you definitely see that because there's almost like a market for it. It's the same thing as horror games. People like watching other people get scared in the same way that they like watching somebody get angry, you know?
Yeah.
Laughing instead of raging has been a better mechanism. Agree with that. Just laughing in disbelief.
Yeah, laughing because your soul is dead and your brain is broken. Like I've been there.
I've been there many times. Fucking what the fuck it. Fuck it. You know?
I feel like Ash in Evil Dead. Like you just like start laughing because the fucking moose on the mantle is laughing at you and everything's going wild and crazy and shit. Like that's the only reaction you can have at that point is just to laugh too because it's just broke.
I can agree with that 100%. Hyperfocus, drop that loud fuck. I mean, if you can get it out in one word, then that's okay, I think. Fuck can have so many good meanings to it, you know?
It can.
I refuse to play League on stream. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many League just like absolute rage. Whoa. Split back. And also, why are you playing something you fucking hate? You know? Like,
oh, hate playing is a real like.
That's a market.
I did that with Overwatch for like a really long time, like way back in the day. Just get my ass handed to me and then be like, fucking one more, son of a bitch. I don't even want to do it. Fine, one more, fuck. Oh, I hate myself.
Dad, I if I ever do it on stream, I'm gonna like exclusively just get like the hardcore players like in chat, and then I'm gonna be like, Mystery Heroes, let's go. like this isn't real playing, and I'll be like, yeah, but I'm having a fun time.
Yeah, the thing though
That's
with
what you
Mystery
forget.
Heroes is like they can't bitch because like no one has control over anything, and if you suck with the character, it's like I'm not a pro at this. Who gives a shit? Like, they'll still find ways to be jerks about it though. So
that's that competitive scene that it's hard to get behind.
You're not playing the meta. It's fucking Mystery Heroes. Shut up.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, I know. I'm a garbage tank. I'm very aware of that.
Actually, that does sound like a play style though. A garbage tank.
Oh.
Like you're just like eating up all the damage.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's kind of what like Reinhardt is supposed to be, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's supposed to just eat damage.
Wait, I thought Reinhardt was supposed to charge out in front of everyone and just hit everyone with a hammer. I
am a mercy person, and I'm gonna be like, knock yourself out, guy. See ya. I'm gonna be back here, living. Anybody else got any sort of questions, NinBow? For me, both? My show. Talk to me too.
No, I will just I'll sit back and enjoy.
Do you like some games differently when you play them on stream versus playing them solo? Yes, absolutely.
Like what?
I mean, I play certain games that I'm like, I'm not streaming this. This is a for me game. Like I'm playing Stranger in Paradise, the Final Fantasy.
Oh shit! How do you like that?
It's good. It's more difficult than I thought it was gonna be, but it's good. It's.
Would you recommend it? Because I've been eyeballing that for like ever.
Wait till it goes on sale, or if it is on sale, I'd say go for it.
Okay.
Don't go for like the full 60 or whatever. Like, get it on sale. It's pretty, very pretty.
It looks really good. I was really sold on what the fuck is that moment where Jack is the guy, right? The main guy.
Fucking, he's the most boring fucking character.
Chaos. but the clip that everyone saw, like where it's like we gotta go. Chaos isn't real. It's like a metaphor. And he just goes bullshit. And he puts on like Linkin Park or some shit on his phone and walks away. I'm like, I need to play this game like ASAP. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
That is hilarious. Bullshit. He does sound like that. He's the most boring and straight-laced. Everyone else is like quipped. Everyone else in your party quips. But not Jack.
So stupid.
And you're
guess,
like,
yeah.
So boring, Jack. I can't believe I have to play as you this whole time.
Even his fucking like shirt, he just has like a V-neck black shirt or something, right?
Yeah, well, that's like his default or whatever. But you like,
oh, you can like get more
when you
and stuff.
any armor you get, it changes the way you look.
Gotcha.
So everybody looks really fucking goofy because you have like everyone in like mismatched, but like the best armor, you know?
Yeah, mismatching armors is always fun. I guess to answer your question, Duncan, RPGs are probably in general something for me because I like playing. I used to like streaming RPGs and then I got bored with them on stream just because
Sure.
like I really like high octane, like high risk sort of challenge run stuff, or I don't know, like really story based stuff that has a heavier action component to it.
Yeah.
So if it's like a turn-based JRPG or something, like it's probably my favorite genre, but I'm not going to stream it because I'd rather immerse myself in the world and take my time with it off stream. Like it's a good decompression device, and I've streamed things like Lunar on my channel, but I like that sort of stuff. I think
Is
more
that
off
Lunar
stream.
Silver Story or whatever?
Oh yeah, yep,
No,
yep.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh,
I played
God,
that. I played
it's-
that so long ago, and it's like out like copies of it are like $1,000 or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, working designs games are like impossible to find and so
Yeah.
expensive. But goddamn, it's so. I mean, play it any way you can. But it's great. It's really fun.
Yeah, I would. I've been kind of experimenting with like randomly different games, but I would agree that I generally enjoy playing a little more like faster paced games on stream. Not that I don't love a good JRPG, like I'm playing Xenoblade, like
Yeah.
the first one, but like it's fucking slow. It's a slow game.
Yeah, like if you're like in a grindy area and like maybe it's a quieter night or something, it's
Mhm.
a little harder to like keep your head in like engagement mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm grinding for the next hour. Like grinding is great, but like I like to grind and put Twitch on in the background or
Right,
listen to
just
a
kinda
podcast
just-
or audiobook or something. You know?
Favorite ice creams? You like ice cream?
Mint
Kyle?
chocolate chip.
Oh, that was there, but I think cookies and cream edges it by like that much,
Yeah,
just
That's
a
a good
tiny
one.
bit.
yeah. I agree with that. I feel like they're somewhat related too, though.
I've also
No,
had
cookies. I was thinking of something else. Never mind.
I've had mint cookies and cream before, and that's fucking a jam.
Yeah, that's harder to get. You're thinking of the one that has like literally like the cookie dough inside.
No, well, I guess my favorite of all time would be like Ben and Jerry's Half Baked, which has like the cookie dough and the brownie bits in there, and that's like that's my favorite ice cream.
Yeah,
But I'm
the
allergic to
ones with, like,
peanuts, so my pool that I'm fishing in is lower.
Ah,
But yeah, mint chocolate chip, solid choice. Solid choice from NinBow here. I don't think I'll ever play Final Fantasy VII on stream, mostly because I'm going to use speed hacks and party buffs to blast through. I don't want any judgment. Play the way you want to play. That would kind of be my
Yeah.
advice there. You want to
if
fucking
anyone's
break
judging
the
you
game?
for your playstyle, like it doesn't fucking matter what they think.
Yeah, go like fucking like break the game if you want to. Some people like will go and watch people break games on purpose. Especially if you ever watch like GDQ stuff.
Yeah.
People are breaking games all the fucking time.
Yeah, especially with like retro games that people have seen like 10 million times. It's kind of fun to see like ways to play it differently.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Have you ever thought of a non-gaming activity for streams? I'm fucking doing it right now.
I've thought, since I'm on my hiatus, I'm thinking of like things to do in Discord, like not streaming on Twitch. Like Lego streams, like I have a backlog of Legos that I need to get to.
Yeah.
Podcasting stuff, like what we're doing right now, is like, it's really chill. It's a very different vibe, and it's kind of fun to like be. I mean, Travis is awesome, and like having another human being that you're talking to, like you guys are human, but you know what I mean, like having that physical like voice and face that you're seeing at the same time, and you can actually respond in real time to each other. God, it's like a different feel,
That's one of the draws that we had as Tank Bros. It was two of us like interacting like back and forth, all that yes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was then it was definitely a different thing, and that's also why I like that. That's kind of what this idea came about too, was I was like, well, I like talking about that stuff, and I'm better at talking than I am gaming, so let's give this a shot. And people have liked it so far.
Yeah, this is really fun. I feel bad though. I feel like I maybe didn't talk enough about like the mental health aspect of it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's a reason that it's so free flowing, right? Like I have like my kind of like base questions that I want to ask, but like if something comes up and that's like more prevalent, then it's like, let's talk about that. I wasn't going to be like, tell me, like I could, if we started going down like the therapy route, I could have been like, well, tell me like about your shitty therapists, We could have done that, but then we started more on the content creation route.
Yeah, I agree. I think following like where the conversation is going is better than like I've like seen podcasts before where it's like the people are really strict with following the outline, and it's like
yeah,
it's weird. The flow is weird with those.
Yeah, where you're just like and going like and talking to my grad students and my undergrad students, I've always tried to tell them about work-life balance. I'm like, hey, okay, shut up. I have another question for you.
Shut up. Shut your ass up.
That's great. TikTok. I have a question about TikTok.
Yeah, I would like to know how to grow on TikTok, please.
Why do you not have an Instagram?
Oh, I have an Instagram. Ain't no one finding it.
It's a Sinsta.
Dude, I'm actually okay on that topic really fast though. I'm fucking kind of stupid. Where
all right, take it easy.
I do have other social medias, and I have my real name associated with them because, like, this is before I actually started, trying to grow on Twitch. I should really wipe that. I should really wipe that stuff. I should probably also not admit to that too. That'd probably be step number one, or look at it on camera, whatever.
It was below camera. I couldn't see it.
Good. This is good.
I can't. I don't know how to hack the camera to pan it down. Half Baked is my favorite B&J. Fuck yeah, dude. Let's see here. F Judgment put in the speed hacks and party buffs. Yeah, totally agree with you. I've discovered meditations have been really helpful for me. Yeah. What do you think about meditation there, Dark NinBow?
I've never done meditation before. I feel like I would get too antsy.
And I had the same thought. And there are definitely certain times it works super well, and other times it doesn't work at all. Like I found that the guided ones, I'm like, don't tell me what to fucking do.
I'm finding Nirvana myself. Keep your phone, stay in your lane.
where they're like, and walk through the park with me, and I'm like, fuck you.
What park? What park? Sounds like a dangerous park. Is this at night? What's going on?
Is it the park from my childhood? Is it the park that I grew up next to? What is it?
This is my mom's park? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I personally don't think the guided stuff works as well for me, but I think the guided stuff works super well for other people. Like I've do some group meditation stuff with some of the kids I work with to kind of bring them into the room type of thing, and it's like 2 minutes because they're middle schoolers and it's hard to get them past that. But it's like bringing them into the room with just a little bit of guided, just like come on in. Come on in and sit with us and walk through whatever with us. It brings them into the room. Some really like it, and some are like, "Can we not do these?" And I'm like, "No."
You're doing it now, kid.
Where it's like we have to also be uncomfortable sometimes, and that's part of it.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Like just being comfortable with discomfort.
Mm-hmm. I try and do that with the kids, just like a little bit of uncomfortability here. If you can handle 2 minutes of uncomfortability, I think you're gonna be okay. And if it's truly bad, then okay, figure out from there. Gotta go delete my personal Instagram. Still have my personal Instagram, I just never use it anymore. Hardly ever anyway. Breathe in through the nose, out through your tailpipe.
I just realized I have 1,000 channel points in here now. Oh, son of a bitch. Trying to find something good. Everything's good, but I'm trying to find the most bang for my buck. Okay, here we go. I ruined it by signposting it.
By telling you it's about to happen?
By telling everyone that it's about to happen. That's how sound alerts work best, is when you like tell everyone beforehand.
Oh yeah, like, hey, I'm about to do a jump scare one. I know, and it's I know, Chad, it's just the fucking X-Files theme. I didn't name it. Oh, is that the one we're doing? Is that the one we're doing? I might have to just fucking refund you. I wouldn't know how to do a TikTok live, make a TikTok live in an interview situation. Considering like the TikTok wouldn't be able to hear, I gotta like sit here with my phone. And just say your line.
Yeah, I don't know anything about TikTok. I watch the stuff that my wife shows me. I know some memes. I know that it spies on you. That's
it does.
Knowledge. That's good.
It does. I have acknowledged. I have acknowledged it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, if you're on social media, you're being spied on. I mean, that's just
100%.
100%.
It's fine. They call it a For You page, and every so often it's really for you. You know, where they're just like, man, isn't it weird being a 31-year-old middle school therapist? And I'm like, all right. And then other times it's like totally off base, and it's just like it's like for my partner, and she's like her little gothy witchy self, and like it'll just be like, which bitch fall is here, and it's like it's like all like the fashion stuff.
Oh my God.
Fall. And I'm like,
is it?
Yeah.
Damn it. How am I not on top of which bitch fall? Fuck. I'm out. I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm so far behind on shit.
School started. Which bitch fall?
That
it makes sense, right? Which bitch fall? Well, I will say, I super appreciate you. No pun intended. Super appreciate you being here.
You did say it twice.
One more time for funsies. Because I love our super X super thing here.
Yes.
If we're gonna do that's if we decide it, and this is obviously down the line, if we decide to like fucking run that Zombies Ate My Neighbors, like that's what I'm calling it.
Oh yeah, and I'm like literally I'm not doing the streamer thing. Like I actually am super down for that. 'Cause
Yeah,
that'd be super fun.
that'd be crazy fun. But I really do appreciate you being here, sharing some of that knowledge about, you know, without going down the super dark rabbit hole that is psychology, and maybe we can bash on Freud if you want to.
Oh, you know what? He'd probably like it. So.
But I had a really good time. It was fun talking, kind of learning a little bit about your journey too. You know, stuff that I know that not a lot of partners talk about. Some of the fluctuations and stuff. You don't hear about it too much.
Yeah, I think, you know, I just think I think it's important to hear the good things and the bad things, you know? Like it's just like there's a lot of stuff to it, and a lot of it's invisible, and it's not necessarily like me bitching about the bad stuff. It's also like what is actually good and actionable about this, you know? Like why should you aspire to do this? So
And like what I like taking away like pieces from this, and something that you said that I try and tell people all the time is like fucking like it's okay to be happy. It's okay to be excited for yourself. Yeah. It's okay to feel pride, as long as that pride isn't like, hey, this stream did really well. Fuck you, NinBow. Like, I'm better than you. No, it's not like that at all. I appreciate everybody for showing up, lurking, talking with us, sharing some of your own experiences in chat. I know you're on a streamer hiatus, but do you have anything you'd like to self-promote? Get ready with the band, please. I'm kidding.
Not really, honestly. Like I have my Twitter and my Discord. I mean, if people want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at SuperNinBow. It's super easy to find me. And then you can find my Discord, I think, through there. If not, don't worry about it. I literally
just tweeted your name, so you can find NinBow right there through me if you want to.
Is this on Instagram?
No, I did. You don't have an Instagram. An Instagram that I know about.
No, but I did see an Instagram link here.
Yeah, there's an Instagram link there.
Okay.
But on Twitter as well.
What's happening? I thought this was Which Bitch Fall. That was called? I don't know what anything is anymore. Oh, God damn it. I drank all my coffee and it's over.
No.
Whatever. I'm so far behind on social media.
Fucking old man NinBow over here.
Son of a bitch. That's the real reason for the hiatus. My mind is just like not as sharp as it used to be.
You gotta get time to get back to the shopping wheel.
But yeah, thank you for having me on, dude. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
this is really fun.
Yeah, and you know, outside of me reaching for clout and bringing you on, it was like I legitimately do enjoy what you do, and also like wanted to hear kind of some of your perspectives on some of these things, because you definitely have a different perspective than other people that I talk with.
Yeah, everyone does.
That's the point of these things. And I think here, like, because you're gonna say things that are gonna be helpful to somebody, and we're just gonna, and that's what every single one of these has had, you know. I'm really enjoying doing these, and I really appreciate you being guest number 3, but number 1 in our hearts.
Yes. Well, thank you, dude. I appreciate it.
Let's do you have a suggestion for a raidee, or should I just pick somebody? I don't mind just picking somebody too.
There's a shit ton of people streaming.
Oh, I know. It's Sunday night, so everyone's.
I usually don't go on Twitch on the weekends because it's like my off time. So when I see like a lot of people streaming, like, what the fuck are you all? That's a lot of peeps. Not used to that.
It's a lot.
I guess I don't have anyone specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind picking somebody. No problem. Even just that one-to-one interplay can aspire or jar out something in the people listening. Yeah. I agree with you, Aaron. I agree with you. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. It's super awesome. No pun intended again. Yeah, you know what? That was intentional.
Yes.
I really do appreciate it. It means a lot for everybody coming in, hanging out. You know, self-promo in my own channel. Feel free to follow me on any of the socials and stuff like that. Follow NinBow. That's how you say it, I promise. You're not reading it wrong in your head. It's NinBow.
Again, you're the only person that's ever gotten that wrong, so.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate you calling me out on it.
Ever. Well, at least you don't just call me Super, which is weirder for me.
That's weird for me.
Do people do that to you? Yeah.
Yeah, to go into a chat and
that.
people are like, "What's up, Super?" And I'm like, "Are you talking to me?"
Yeah, that's not the part you say.
My name is literally there.
Yeah.
It's right there. Yes, thank you everybody for hanging out, lurking, chatting, all that kind of stuff. Let's go right here. Is this like... Is this like Sonic the Hedgehog? Oh.
Wait, what? Oh, is someone playing Sonic?
Yeah. See a little bit of that action, huh? A little VTuber?
We do. Wait, they're a VTuber of Sonic?
Well, no, they're playing Sonic. They are a VTuber.
Gotcha.
We do love at least you get super, you get okay. You get aggressively okay though. That's what you get. Raid button. Infinite. Bam. All right. Starting that raid. Feel free to use my raid emotes, your own raid emotes, anybody's raid emotes, as long as you let them know that Super Trav came with you. That's most important. It's about me, not the other person.
There are no other people. Other people are lies.
I have one of my little TikTok like things that I do is called streamer tips, and it like one of the streamer tips is like, you do not make friends on Twitch. Everyone's your competition. You know.
This is good.
Your direct competition. Gank Thor. A couple people call me Thor, which threw me off at first. Yes, absolutely. Super raid. Yes. Like I said, use your own raid emotes. Use NinBows. Use them all. That's all I want to see is just a bunch of radio emotes. Cool. We cool with that, chat? Cool with that, Bow?
I am very cool with that.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. They're playing. Oh, they're playing Sonic fan games. Whoa. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody.
All right, bye. Take care, everyone.
Mwah.